Welcome back, everyone, to the Game Day Charts podcast. Today we are doing some NHL Draft Live. We're going to have numerous guys popping in and out. I know Colton, he's got some guys with his Gold Star agency that he's doing, that they have some guys getting drafted, so he's going to come in and speak on them. We're about to go, though. Bettman just handed it off to the Leafs. Leafs are going to be picking right away here. It looks like he's coming to the podium. We got a whole lot to talk about. This is going to be a couple hours long. Thanks to everyone who's already tuning in, and for those who will. Yeah, we're going to talk about all the trades that have gone on over the week, everything that's been hectic, talk about some of these picks and where we think. I will say I do have Gavin McKenna being taken here. I do believe he will. He is the most NHL ready, and the Leafs are trying to get back in the playoffs, so I don't see why they wouldn't take him. Stenberg is a good secondary option. But I think that McKenna is kind of the guy to go with, and you just toss him on the line with Matthews and see where it goes. It's a big moment. Obviously, everyone's got their phones out. They're all recording it as it is happening. So we'll see. I'll be a little delayed because I don't have the audio on. Oh, there's Bieber, as everyone thought that he would be doing this Toronto pick in his Canada jacket, of course. Leave some stuff in the comments here. We can chat. Want to get some things going because I know that there's a lot to talk about in terms of everything this week. But this is a good draft, I think. If you missed it already, we had Stephen Ellis on just last week. We threw an episode up with him, and he gave us some insights into some of the players that he was watching. And, yeah, he's got some good insights. So go check that out after this if you want to. But we're going to hear a lot. On the TV, they're going to give so much breakdowns on everyone. The draft is always so good to find out about guys maybe you didn't know about or that you do now want to know about, and who your team drafts, because there's going to be always some diamonds in the rough, some kids that just unfortunately don't make it. And it's going to be real interesting as the years go on to see where this draft class comes. It's crazy. It's been 10 years since Matthews for the Leafs. It doesn't feel like that long ago, but here we are. All right, always with their show, Bettman is doing a long portrayed thing. There it is, the pick's in. Gavin McKenna, first overall, Toronto Maple Leafs. That's the right pick for them. What else can you say? The kid just has, since he's been 15 years old, he's had what everyone's looking for, realistically. Elite playmaker, good at putting the puck in the back of the net. Probably would have came close to 200 points if he stayed in the WHL this year. So I don't think there's any doubt that he's the guy here. He has been for years. And I think that they're doing the right thing here. They could have maybe traded for a more ready now guy, but none of the guys they could have traded for with this pick I don't think would have had this ceiling. I'm talking Robertson, maybe Larkin, maybe DeBrincat's name's out there, Hellebuck, Werenski. Maybe Werenski would have been the best option for their team, but no one helps them long-term and ceiling-wise like this kid does, in my opinion. Again, if you guys do want to make some comments, so I'm not just sitting here babbling along to myself, that would be awesome. We can chat about whatever you guys want, whether on YouTube or on X. I can even go check, actually. Make sure that the comments are coming through on X. Make sure I'm not missing any from you guys. All right, well, let's break down some of these trades because it has been a busy, hectic week. All right, I'll go to it. Sad one for me. As you guys know, if you've been watching for long enough, I am a big Tampa Bay Lightning fan. This helps the Toronto Maple Leafs. Darren Radish goes for a fifth-round pick. That one stung. I mean, hard to say what he's going to turn out to. Something like 56% of his points were assisted by Kucherov. It's really going to be difficult to find out where he lands in his career the rest of the way. But at nothing else, he's a good, solid player. The Leafs got a guy that they see they need on the power play. He can shoot or most shots over 100 miles per hour this year. He really just had a good year, 70 points, 22 goals or something like that. Like just a great year all around. So really good for him. Not so good for Tampa that they lost him for so little, but that is what it is when a guy has a boom in a contract year. Really am happy for him, though. Side note, if anyone knows, he did lose his dad this year to cancer. Him and Taylor Radish, who was also a Tampa draft pick at some point. He's back home in Toronto now with his mom and stuff. So I think there's a good silver lining there to be had for him. And, now he gets to play with Gavin McKenna and Austin Matthews and Willem Nylander and John Tavares. Like, what a good first power play line that is. So good for him. Happy to see Radish go to the Maple Leafs. And then we had more. The Maple Leafs were active to start, trading Joseph Woll and Simon Benoit to the Flyers for Urson, Andre, and a 2026 third. And we'll see if that ever gets flipped because all these picks are getting traded everywhere. I didn't like it at first for the Leafs. I was like, why are you getting rid of Woll for Ersson? And because Ersson is not being a good NHL goaltender. And then today we had Ersson flipped to the Ottawa Senators for a 5th-round pick. So clearly it was just a goalie for goalie swap. The Leafs did not believe Ersson was their guy. I'm really surprised they gave up on Woll. Stolarz has been so injury-prone for them. I'm not quite sure where they thought they were going to go with that. But I don't know. Emil Andre, probably a better defender than Simon Benoit by a little bit. Maybe. But then they did give up, or they did get the 3rd-round pick as well. So that's a little benefit there. Nashville and Colorado, 2 teams that were all of a sudden linked a bunch. We got Ross Colton and Isaac Posch for Magnus Krona, a 3rd-round pick in 26 and a 3rd-round pick in 27. So for me, a Tampa guy again, big fan of Ross Colton's game. It just didn't seem to work out in Colorado. Colorado did the thing that you're not really supposed to do, which is when a guy wins a cup, you immediately give him a major contract. They gave him like a 5x5 or whatever he got. $5 million for a 3rd-line player now is okay, but when they did it, it just wasn't good value for them. So it makes sense that they wanted to move on. Nashville and Colorado followed that up pretty much right away, just a day later, with Jack Drury heading to Nashville with Chase Bradley and a 2029 3rd-round pick for Fedor Svechkov and Zachary LaRue. So we'll see how that turns out. All around depth guys, Jack Drury, I didn't think he'd be traded again after the Carolina trade, but here he is now going back to Nashville in this one. And then I guess the big ones. This one hurt. I'll tell you guys, this one hurt because the Seattle Kraken traded Tampa Bay's number 25 1st-round pick and a 2027 2nd-round pick conditional for Mackie Samoskevich from the Panthers. And then, of course, the Panthers used their 9th, Tampa Bay's 25th, the 2027 2nd-round pick, and a 2029 1st-round pick conditional to land Brady Tkachuk. So Tampa Bay essentially helped land their biggest rival, the best player available on the trade market, most likely, unless Hellebuck gets traded. And man, they are going to be such a hard team to play against. I don't know how teams are. Obviously, they're going to lose games and injuries matter and everything. I'm not going to say just hand them the cup now, but how this team is built, rested for a year since a lot of guys were so injured from their 2 cup runs. They rested up. They have a lot of room to come back and just be the best team. Doesn't always mean you win the cup. There's a lot of things that can happen over the next year. But, man, do they look like they have a good chance. Brady Tkachuk one hurts. That hurts for sure. Ottawa, in maybe a surprising move. If you look at their points the last 2 years, it is pretty even. But William Eklund comes into Ottawa from San Jose with Kasper Halttunen and Brandon Svoboda for that 9th overall pick. I'm just not so sure about 9th overall for William Eklund. And yes, Kasper Halttunen, another good player, and Brandon Svoboda. Don't know much about him, but I'm not so sure about 9th. That's such a high price to pay, a top 10 pick for hopefully a really good second liner, and hopefully a top 9 prospect. Haltonen has some good clutch genes in him, but not sure what his career could be. I know his skating is a little bit concerning, so if he doesn't get that better, he may never even work out in the NHL. So big risk there, I think, giving San Jose the 9 just for Eklund, when I think you could have got, you got Chabot aging, you have Sanderson who's there. You maybe could have got one of these premier defenders at 9 that would just give you a third guy to solidify in a few years as those guys get up there and age just a little bit more. And then the big trades continued that whole day. We have St. Louis getting Connor McMichael, Milton Gastrin, and a 2026 first-round pick, number 16, for Jordan Kyrou. I don't like this for the Washington Capitals personally. McMichael and Kyrou are not so different production-wise. The potential, I think, is more in Kyrou's favor, which is good. But they do give up Gastrin, who is not, he's a good prospect. He's nothing really to scoff at. And they give up 16th overall. This is saying that to me, this is something that you kind of look for around a Robertson deal with a little bit more. You're getting a good NHL player with potential. You're getting a good prospect with potential, and you're getting just at the beginning of the bottom half of the round of a pick. So I don't know. We'll see what Kyrou turns into, if anything at all for them, because he's so streaky. And McMichael, I thought, has had some pretty good consistency being a second or third line center for the Caps. So who knows? We'll see what happens there. Another one that I just don't like is this Chicago Buffalo trade. Bowen Byram and Jordan Greenway to Chicago for Louis Crevier, first-round pick number 4, and a second-round pick. Number 4 is a high price to pay. I was just talking about number 9. San Jose's pick come in. I'll talk quick here. Crevier is a good prospect and a second-round pick. Greenway is good. Maybe Greenway is for Crevier in the second, but fourth is a high price for Bowen Byram. All right, we'll see what they do here. Is Bettman is back up on the podium, giving his pick number 2, if he's going to make it or if they're going to have a personnel or someone make it just like the Leafs did. Oh, they do, yes. They have PWHL. This is Layla Edwards. She's making the pick after she was just drafted 4th overall herself, I believe, in the PWHL draft. All right, guys, if you want to still chime in the comments. I'm all for talking your ear off, but feel free. I'd answer any questions or anything that you guys have. It'd be awesome to be interactive. Here we go. See what she says. Ivor Stenberg. Had to read her lips there. Sorry, I was watching what she was saying. I was like, oh, what's she going to say? There we go. Ivor Stenberg had to do it. Had to be that pick. That is my choice as well. I wish I could have put it. I should have put it up. I'll tell you guys my top 10 now. Tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm not. I decided to draft off team fit, and we'll see how this goes. So I have Gavin McKenna, number 1 as he went. Ivor Stenberg, number 2 as he went. I have the Canucks taking Manny Malholtra's son, Caleb Malhotra, 3rd overall. I find it too hard for a team at the top of the draft to not do that when they just bet on the coach. So I believe we'll see him. And then I do not, especially with another trade for defenseman that Buffalo just made today that we'll get into for Olen Zellweger, I do not see the Sabres taking yet another defender. They would have Dahlin, Power, Samuelson, Zellweger, etc., clogging the lane. Yes, if you're the best defender, you come up and maybe it works out. But I just don't see them taking another defender. So I see them taking Vigo Bjork, 4th overall. And then I see, we're hearing maybe Adam Fox is going to get traded. We don't know. So I see Chase Reed going to the Rangers if they need a replacement. I see Tynan Lawrence because the Flames don't need defenders now. They have Nemec, they have Perek, they have Brustevich, they have a bunch of young guys. They're talking about trading guys like Zary. I think they're looking for a forward. And if you ask me, the best forward left available after those 4 forwards is Tynan Lawrence. So I think that's who they would go with if they are choosing to go the forward route. If they choose to go best player, they may go defender. Who knows? But they may go forward with that. I have at number 7, Carson Karls. I have number 8, Keaton Verhoff. Number 9, Dax Rudolph. And number 10, Albert Schmitz. There's just too many good defensemen to not round out the top 10 with defensemen. And I think that's exactly what we'll see is at least these 5 defenders and taken in this top 10. There's always a surprise team, though. Someone always jumps in here and takes Moritz Seider or whoever it may be out of kind of left field that we didn't see. I myself had that happen in Tampa when they took Slater Cuckoo 10th overall. I was just like, what the heck? And that one didn't work out. Mo Seider did work out. But we will see. That is my top 10. McKenna, Stenberg, Malhotra, Bjork, Reed, Lawrence, Karels, Verhoff, Rudolph, and Schmitz. All based off team fit and need, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how correct I am. Right now I'm 2 for 2. We'll keep that up, 2 for 2. And we will go from there. All right, now Stenberg's doing all his interviews. This is the longest part, really, is always waiting for these interviews to happen. We can get to another Washington Capitals trade, though. Alex Tuch for David Camp and a 3rd-round pick. Can we love the pick but hate the pick? Is that an option? Love the fact that they added Alex Tuch. I think he's a fantastic player for everyone, whoever was looking at him. But can we hate the 8 by $10.5 million that he got? I think is a fair assessment. I'm definitely not a fan of it. It's a lot of money. Still, no one has won with over a $10 million player. Yes, the cap is going up. $10 million means less. It's more of 9 now. It's a lot. And you can't compare versus always making more than this player that signed extensions or whatever before this years ago. The new money comes in and you're looking at percentages as an agent. Okay, what percentage was this value of player getting previously, and what does that dollar total equal today off that percentage? Is kind of around the same. And are they better than their compared players? Like, everyone's kind of clumped into a group, right? I would say Tuch is kind of in the Jamie Benn range of players. So you have your range of where does he fit kind of in that section of guys. Whatever, Jamie Benn's percentage was more, so okay, he's a little bit less Jamie Benn. Okay, what's his percentage equal? And they came together on 10.5. And I don't know if I like it at all. It is so high for 8 years. It is a great deal for him. He's getting a fantastic, fantastic life-altering deal. I just don't know how good it's going to be for Washington long-term. Okay, another one I hate because we heard apparently Florida Panthers are not going to re-sign AJ Greer. They're not coming to terms. Thank goodness. Hated AJ Greer, not just as a Tampa fan, but he's just such a scumbag. And then they go out and get Garnet Hathaway. And that sucked. Okay, we have the Canucks on the clock. But yeah, Hathaway, just another guy who fits their mold perfectly. Don't get me wrong. Florida knows what they're doing. They do it well, and they get the right guys to do it. But, man, does it suck constantly seeing them find these guys for, was he a 5th and a 4th they paid, and they got a 5th round back as well. So, really unfortunate. They have Kobe Smulders, Avengers, and How I Met Your Mother star, and they do take Caleb Malhotra with their pick. 3 for 3, boys. 3 for 3. Going good so far. This is where it all falls apart. Pick 4. Pick 4 could be anything. Buffalo could go best player available. Buffalo could go best forward available. To me, here's the thing. To me, Vigo Bjork should have went third. I think because he has a chance to grow still. And if everyone is saying he's Nick Suzuki, Alexander Barkov-esque defensive style play, at the end of the day, those players are always going first overall in their own redrafts. So I don't know why you wouldn't want a guy who they call the mini Suzuki. Suzuki just, with his play and leadership, almost single-handedly led the Canadiens through to the Eastern Conference Final where they lost to Carolina. They had such a good year. So to me, Vigo Bjork was the third best player in the draft. I just had a feeling the Canucks were going to draft Malhotra's son. It is just too hard to not do that when you're committing to the dad as your future coach. It'll be interesting, though. If any family can do this, it makes sense. Malhotra, he's a very proud guy. He just worked as a grinder his whole career. His uncle is Steve Nash. The guy knows hard work, and he kind of knows how to work in all situations. So I think it's a fine pick for the Canucks. I don't know Kale Malhotra's game very much. He's in the OHL. I'm on the West Coast. But it's nothing but been praised and I guess, praised by everyone. His defensive play, his IQ, his offensive ability, the way Stephen Ellis said he was taking minutes from already drafted players as a draft-eligible player. So he was doing a lot of good things that mattered, and so we'll see. I still think Vigo Bjork, what he did at the World Championships, what he did at the World Juniors, what he did on his men's team in Sweden, I do believe that he's probably the better player. But maybe Malhotra has the higher ceiling. I do not know. But it's good to see that the Canucks, you like to see these family stories, right? We just talked about the Tkachuk brothers being back together. We had the Foligno brothers last year get back together in Minnesota. So very cool to see Malhotra get to go with his dad at the very least. All right, let's get back to some of these trades. Washington, again, involved in a deal. They sent Hendrix Lapierre to Pittsburgh for a third-round pick and a 2026 fifth-round pick via San Jose, 2027 third. It's okay, I guess. Good value for a depth player. He's got good wheels, always speedy. Not much more outside of that. Struggles to finish, struggles to produce points. I don't know. He's a good player, but we'll see if he translates. It's so funny how many trades and signings the Capitals and Penguins have had flip-flopping over the last couple of years. It's pretty interesting to see what's going on there. All right, the other big one recently, we have Val Nichushkin for a second in 2026, a third in 2027, and a fifth in 2028. This, to me, was get the hell out of here. I think they're done with Val. He is an unreliable player on a winning team. He doesn't fit their culture. You have Nate Dogg, who's like strict, diligent, and then you had Val, who he had to duck out in the finals or in the playoffs that one year due to yet another drug problem. So I just don't think he lined up. Landy came back from his hard surgery, and this year not Landy, but Val underperformed. I think the writing was on the wall just to get rid of him. And this is them getting rid of him because he is still probably a top 50 forward in the NHL. I would say 5-0 if we're being fair to him. And yet you only got a second, a third, and a fifth. So I don't know. I don't know exactly where their head was at with the value, but they clearly had their head straight on they did not want this guy in their organization anymore. There's some of the guys who are messaging me as we're trying to line things up, see who can all join. All right, Washington again, small trade here. Small trade. Declan Chisholm goes to the New Jersey Devils, and they get a 2027 fourth-round pick back. depth piece. Didn't really work out in Washington. He's played like 140 games or something with 3 different teams over 3 years. So one of those journeyman bounce around guys, but don't worry, he'll be here 15 years from now, still playing for a different team, but finding a way to munch minutes. That's just the way that these guys kind of work out. Here's one I was talking about earlier. We have Olen Zellweger to the Buffalo Sabres for forward Anton Wahlberg, a 2026 second-round pick. I guess good value. I thought that maybe Anaheim valued him a little bit more internally, but I guess not. He's always struggled defensively, but he's a very good offensive player. As a defenseman, if he could turn it around, he was very, Cole and Lane Hudson-esque. If he could just get that defensive game down, and he's only like 22. So I don't know entirely the thought behind just giving up on him on a team that isn't necessarily, well, I guess he didn't play in the playoffs very much, and maybe they think they're ready to compete and he doesn't fit their team, but I don't know. They're talking about moving McTavish. Anaheim's kind of knows what they're doing, but they got rid of Ryan Strome. They were looking at getting rid of Vetrano, and then now they get rid of Zellweger. They want to get rid of McTavish. So their team is kind of up in arms, but they're not adding anything, but they are trying to get rid of stuff. So very interesting. All right, sorry. We have Buffalo. The pick is in. They are on the clock, and we'll see what they say here. They're moving pretty quick, actually. I did not think that these guys would be moving so fast. Again, if you want to, please feel free to comment, get in the comments on YouTube or on X, and I want to make sure that these are actually coming through to here. I believe they are. Yeah, they're still coming through. Okay. Nothing there, though. Feel free to give me some opinions. Tell me I'm wrong. All that is good with me. Anytime. I am not the end-all, be-all of hockey. No one is. Lots can happen that turn lots of opinions. Let's go with that. All right. Who's this? Coach of the Bills or something? Season ticket holder? I don't know. Someone from the Bills making the pick. Oh, they jumped Daxon Rudolph, 4th overall to the Buffalo Sabres. There's the first surprise, not by much. If you haven't seen it, we interviewed Daxon last summer. Great kid. Awesome to have on the podcast. We really, really appreciated him coming. Nothing but humbleness. This kid, what he did in Prince Albert this year was pretty special. I thought maybe he would be one of the top defenders taken, but it was all up in the air. And clearly Buffalo thinks this kid can win. They have so many left-handed Ds, so it makes sense that he's a right-handed D. All this just makes sense, if you ask me. And this is a heck of a pick for a heck of a kid. And big congrats to him because, again, he came on and we're super thankful to have him. And such a good kid. And he was looking forward to this. He was talking about the work he was putting in. He was hoping to make Team Canada and all sorts of stuff this year, but this is probably a bigger prize than any of that he got. 4th overall, first defenseman taken. All right. Sorry again, just answering some guys, making some plans. We'll see. Maybe we can get Daxon on. He's going to be a busy guy this summer. Maybe we can get him on and have him for another episode. That would be awesome. And hopefully whenever Tynan goes to, we did have Tynan Lawrence on as well. So it'd be really special to get Tynan on. And we'll see. Because now that shakes things up. So I went 3 for 3, and I knew I was going to be wrong come pick 4. Now it's anyone's game. Where do the Rangers go? Do the Rangers go? I mean, that leaves Chase Reed and Carson Karls. They are the 2 best, closest examples of who the top defender is. Man, I got to see Carson Karls a little bit in the WHL this year, but Chase Reed was so dominant. I'm actually surprised that Buffalo didn't go American-born Chase Reed. I know that really has nothing to do with it, but I am surprised that maybe they didn't want to go that route. But heck, he's a Rudolph. He's going to be a heck of a player, I think, for them. Fifth overall, hey. I have Chase Reed, but now that Bjork is available for the Rangers, and if they're going to get rid of Vincent Trocheck, why would they not replace Vinny Trocheck with a guy whose floor is probably Vinny Trocheck and whose ceiling is Nick Suzuki-esque? So I think Vigo Bjork is a smart pick for the Rangers, which hopefully is good because that means that he'll end up being in Tampa Bay Lightning at one point, because that's how it always ends up with all Rangers guys. All right, while we're waiting, I know I'm rambling on forever here. Feel free, again, get in the comments. Let's talk some stuff. Yeah, it's cool talking to all of you, but it's nice to get some interactive feedback, something to dovetail off into. But now we'll get into maybe the biggest news of the week. Trades be damned, draft be damned. Mike Babcock coming back and basically just throwing his middle fingers up at everyone in the NHL and just not apologizing for a single thing, blaming the Blue Jackets organization for the way his tenure went there, blaming his wife for the reason why he left, not so much blaming, but crediting her, I guess, in the weirdest way. He was like, oh, my wife's great idea that we left Columbus because it wasn't what we wanted. A guy who didn't even make it to a regular season game as the coach. Or maybe, I don't know. It was such a short tenure. I think the Oilers better know what they're doing here. Because let's not forget, they also have Stan Bowman, who is problematic from his Chicago Blackhawks days, and now they have Babcock. So they're just going all out. They might as well have got Carter Hart when he was in free agency. Why not? Right? Just keep adding the guys up. Who knows? Babcock. I don't know. You're talking about Isaac Howard, Matt Savoy, some of these younger guys. It'll be interesting to hear what happens because the hatred for Babcock is legendary. The stories that have come out the last 5 years, there's a lot of crap that was thrown at the wall at him, and a lot of it stuck. It was not so much, a weak little, oh, I don't like this guy because he wasn't nice to me thing. Like, there's a lot of stories that came out from a lot of different guys that really, really hate this guy. So it'll be very interesting to see how it turns out. And we went through 14 trades already. We haven't had one on the draft floor yet. I don't know if we will. There was so much explosion previously. I'm not sure if we will get that on the draft day now, because now we've gone, San Jose kept their pick, Buffalo kept their pick. Who else could trade theirs? Seattle is still willing to trade theirs, as far as we know. Could see maybe a surprise trade from Winnipeg, trading theirs out. Yeah, I mean, the Rangers can trade theirs, but the Rangers are so confused about where they're going. They're trading away all their stars, Kreider, Trouba, Panarin, and yet they're still trying to remain competitive, I feel, with Shesterkin and Fox and Lafreniere, who's maybe on the block, and Fox is maybe on the block. They're stuck between tearing it down and keeping it going. And I don't know if they know which way is the right way. So in these 14 trades so far, we have had the 4th overall pick, the 9th overall pick twice, 16th overall pick and the 25th overall pick traded, which I believe is a record in the last little while because first off, a top 5 pick never gets traded unless it's like a year in advance. And then one pick in the top 10 was traded twice. That's my little boy. He's trying to come in here. He hears me going. Oh, I missed this. Who's this? Albert Schmitz, 5th overall. I don't think I'm going to get another one right now. That's crazy. Why is Chase Reed falling? Why is Carson Karls falling? Why is Keaton Verhoff falling? All good players, all good defensemen who a lot of people think that Albert Schmitz is the Mo Seider. And if he turns into Mo Seider of this draft, then it's a fantastic pick. He's big. He's mature. He's been playing men against men. The question is, does that translate to the NHL game? He played good for Latvia at the Worlds, played good for Latvia at the World Juniors. So he has been prepped for this in a way, but I don't know if he is entirely the guy in terms of ceiling. His floor is so high. He is going to be a top 4 shutdown D regardless of the next 10 years, for sure. But is he going to be your 5th overall pick? Is Chase Reed going to pass him? People were saying Chase Reed, he's like Miro Heiskanen. That's a great player comp if you want to spend a top 5 pick. Keaton Verhoff still, it was McKenna Verhoff, beginning of the year. McKenna Verhoff. And Verhoff worked on his game, and somehow that dropped his quality of a player. He's still a fantastic player. I don't think that him falling so far is the best, but we'll see. I don't know. Is there maybe a trade? Oh, there's a trade. Okay. I think this is the Flames' 6th overall pick. Sorry, I gotta look over to find out where they put this graphic up. So the Flames have traded 6th overall. That is what I'm guessing because they are on the clock. So they are announcing the trade. Oh, maybe not. Sorry, again, no audio on my side because I don't want it being copyrighted through the mic. So we'll see. They'll throw a graphic up for me. But another trade, I've been told maybe it's not the Flames. Another trade? Sorry, everyone. There's a whole lot of hectic going on. Okay, Vegas trades Dorofeyev to the Rangers for 26th and 92nd overall in 2026 and a first-round pick in 2028. Dorofeyev did fall off in the playoffs. Interesting that they didn't take or didn't trade the pick. Which is good. I guess that would have been an overpay for Dorofeyev. I'll have to wait for this graphic to come up again because I'm not sure who that was, the second trade. I know the first trade was Dorofeyev. Okay, so to the Rangers, 26th, third rounder, and the pick is a top 10 protected 2028 first is what they're saying on Twitter right now. And Peterka, I guess we missed it. I was waiting for news on it. Peterka, I guess, has been traded to the Bruins for 2 first-round picks. Kind of surprising that after Buffalo or Utah swung so hard for him from Buffalo that they just ship him to Boston right away. But I guess Boston wanted him. So good for them, good for him. If it didn't work out in Utah, it is what it is. And now we get a Peterka-like player, Dorofeyev, going to the Rangers. Try to find a trade graphic here so I can add it to the pile that I had. There's Peterka's. Okay, Peterka's is a 23rd overall and a 2028 first is what Peterka got for Utah. And that makes 15 or no, that makes more than that. That's like almost 20 trades now in the last 2 days, which is absolutely insane. Calgary's pick is in. My buddy Dakota in the podcast, huge Flames fan. So he was very worried that the Flames traded their pick. He's extremely happy that they did not. He says, do they go Chase Reed? We will find out if they do. See which route they go. Lanny, typical Lanny making the pick. Good for Lanny. He had that health scare last year there where he had to be taken to hospital. I think the second trade they announced was just the Peterka one, I guess. Yeah, okay. There we go. Peterka and Dorofia both moved. Both similar wingers. One gets way more value than the other, I guess. Would you guys like me to put the like a scroller down below to show kind of who's been taken? Because I can add one of those if that's beneficial. Someone let me know. I can do that. Carson Karls to the Calgary Flames, 6 overall. My goodness. So Chase Reed, surprisingly, is the guy who's dropping, who some thought could go number 2 to the Sharks. All of a sudden is now not in the top 6. Interestingly enough, him and Vigo Bjork both drop outside of the top 6. And he's at home on the farm, of course, celebrating with friends and family. These farm boys, they don't go to the draft. They just stay at home on the farm. It's pretty funny. Him, Brady Martin, they both did the same thing. If you want a guy who's probably the best overall defenseman in this draft, it is Carson Karls. His skating, his defensive work, his offensive play, all of it translates extremely well to the NHL. He's just a dog out there. And he's committed now to North Dakota, which is insane because they have Verhoff, him. Did they sign Daxon Rudolph too? They might have signed Daxon Rudolph. They just went crazy. Their team this year is going to be absolutely insane. And heck, if you can catch some North Dakota games, they're going to be games to watch because that team's defense is stacked. Yeah, so now I am of my top 10. If you weren't here, my top 10 was McKenna, Stenberg, Malhotra. Nailed it. All 3. No problem. Then where it falls apart, I have Bjork, Reed, Lawrence. Wrong on all 3. Karls, Verhoff, Rudolph, Schmitz. My 9 and 10 pick went 4 and 5, and my 7 pick went 6. So I wasn't too far off on at least Carson Karls, and I really thought that the Flames would go forward, especially with Vigo Bjork there. I really did believe that they would go forward, but they chose not to. So, man, whoever gets Vigo Bjork at 7, 8, 9, 10 or beyond is getting an incredible player. That is for sure. All right, well, let's see. Let's see if I can do that for you guys. I'm on a scrolling. Maybe not. Not as easy as I wanted it to be. That's okay. Again, comments. Feel free. I'm going to make sure they're working. I'm just going to leave one. Just so you guys, so I know that it's working and you guys aren't trying, and I'm just ignoring you all. Just going to say test. See if it comes up. There we go. Okay, yeah, feel free. We're on YouTube. If you're on X, I don't know if the X ones are coming through. I'll check it again. Nope, nothing at all. All right, guys, feel free. Like I said, chime in, have a chat. I'm running out of material while guys are not drafted because I'm just talking to myself so long. See if I can get a second guy. See if we can get some more boys to come on now that they're kind of fizzling off work. Let me know too. Who are your favorite prospects? Who are you guys wanting to see go where? Who's your team? Let me know. Who are you cheering for in this draft? Who do you want them to take? Because there is so much. To me, this is a very, very good top 20. And maybe it filters off after that. And give me some predictions. Do the Ruck twins go together? Do they get separated? All things that are going to be very interesting to see what can happen in this draft. Oh, that was just quick. Boom. Shotgun Seattle takes Chase Reed. What a pick. They haven't got any luck this week. No big name guys want to go there, apparently. Apparently, Robert Thomas has rejected them, and Jason Robertson has rejected them. Here they go. They get maybe the best defender in this draft when it all comes down to it. If he plays the way they know he can, he's an incredible player. I don't know if he's committed to college yet. I'd have to double check that again. I forget. But if he hasn't, he could jump right into this Seattle roster, which would be pretty incredible for him. Let's see if the name's on the back. Were they expecting him there? Looks like it. Yeah. They knew somehow he was going to be there at 7th overall. He was their guy that they wanted. Good for them. Again, this could be a franchise-altering defenseman. Maybe not Matthew Schaefer, but again, let's say Lane Hudson. Somewhere along those lines of very, very elite guys, Miro Heiskanen, even just that wave below the Makar Hughes wave. Anyone you guys have questions on? I've done some research into quite a few of these guys. Again, we've had Rudolph on, we've had Lawrence on. So if you guys want to talk about some players in specific, feel free to reach out. We'll go over it and see who we can break down. Because so far, if we can do some player comps. Gavin McKenna like to call himself kind of a Kucherov-esque type player, which I think fits him well. I will say this: Kucherov has a good training motor, and I'm sure McKenna does too, but I feel like McKenna does not get frustrated like Kucherov does. So I think he even has a better chance to be a better player than Nikita Kucherov, because we've all seen Kucherov can be taken off his game and disappear pretty easily. Whereas a guy like Gavin McKenna, he's, since he was 15 years old, he's been beat up and just wailed on by top competition to try to prove that he's not the guy that we all have seen that he is. So Stenberg, Ivor Stenberg, as a winger, I don't know if there's many guys like, he is so clutch and so skilled offensively. Maybe like Cole Caulfield, I feel like that's maybe a good comparison. Super, super skilled, good goal scorer, always in the right spots, but he's also good defensively, which Cole Caulfield's getting better at. So yeah, I feel like he could absolutely be someone like that. Malhotra, talking about defensive IQ, he's bigger. Oh, I don't know. Do I want to say someone like maybe a Rupe Hintz? He could turn out like. That's not the worst comparison, maybe. I could be wrong, but again, I don't know his game too much. But if we're talking high IQ, good in the defensive zone, but also puts up points, I think you'd be happy if he turns out to be a Rupe Hintz type of guy. Daxon Rudolph, first vendor off the board. Man, he's a tough one because he just does everything so well. Who do we want to compare him to? Maybe a little bit like Victor Hedman. He's not going to wow you offensively, and he's maybe not going to be the best defensive player in the NHL, but the two things that he does combined are going to cause him to be a very effective, very elite defender in the NHL if he puts it all together. Albert Smith's Mo Seider. It's the perfect comparison. Stephen Ellis did say that he could also be like Michael Matheson potentially, which is still a great player. He's been a great player for over a decade. So I don't see anything wrong with that. Carson Karls, again, most complete defender. Probably Miro Heiskanen is like his almost perfect comp for the way that Heiskanen plays. Again, just there's no one who is a Makar or a Hughes. So there should be no comparison really to them, but they're just below. They're so close, but they're just not quite there. And then we're at Chase Reed. Chase Reed, again, could be the best defender, could turn out like Makar, let's say. And the absolute best case scenario, but as far as I know, again, like, you know, him and Rudolph are very close with Karls. Like, it's all kind of that Heiskanen Hudson range is where they all kind of fit in. Winnipeg looks like they just took Vigo Bjork. What a great pick. Someone who's going to absolutely help them behind Scheifele. Great. What people aren't really remembering, too, is like, yes, McKenna's going to come to the NHL and Stenberg's going to come to the NHL. But you got, I believe, Malhotra, Bjork, Reed, Karls, Rudolph, all going college. You have Smits and Vigo Bjork that are basically going to be able to come NHL too, if you want them to. Or they could go do the Frondell thing, go back to Sweden, play the year out, and then come at the end of the year like Frondell did for Chicago. Okay, we're switching our goal here a little bit on the fly. So I screwed up my top 10 rankings. They're not correct. But let's see if I can just get all 10 guys right in the top 10. Tynan Lawrence might take me off my chance because I really thought that he'd be the best forward available for the Flames at 6. But we'll see if I can at least get all 10 guys right. So far, I am 8 for 8. I just need Keaton Verhoff and Tynan Lawrence to go. I don't see Verhoff going past San Jose at 9. San Jose is going to be ecstatic getting Stenberg and Verhoff. This is going to be an unreal thing for them. They're going to have Dickinson. They're going to have Verhoff. It's going to be uncomparable. Their top 10, their 2 picks are going to be lights out. Viewing the proud parents. Always a good time. Proud parents is always the best thing, I think. Seeing them, how proud they are of their kids, it's always so inspiring for anyone, especially myself now that I have 2 young kids. You know, my hockey dreams never worked out, but to have a chance to maybe see them do any sport and then have this potential moment would be so cool. Oh, this could be the Ottawa Senators. I'm still so surprised this is not the Ottawa Senators. I don't know how they traded Tkachuk to their division rival just to then trade their better pick away. I don't know. I think that this could have really benefited Ottawa because they also have, what pick do they also have? 20. Well, they have 25 for sure because they already got that. Maybe that's it. What is going on? Someone's singing. I don't know who it is. Just looked up and someone's belting it out on the TV. What do you guys think? Who is the surprise player of this draft? Does anyone have an answer? Feel free to shoot, comment if you want to. Who is the surprise player of this draft, in your opinion? Doesn't have to be these top 10 guys, doesn't have to be the top 15 guys. It's often a guy from pick 25 to 30 who outperforms his draft stock and would have been drafted top 10 if you look back on it. David Pastrnak at 25 is a fantastic example of that. Let me see. Who would mine be? Maybe Xavier Villeneuve, someone who could absolutely become an offensive monster, but not be good defensively. If he can figure that defense out, he's very Owen Zellweger-like, as Owen Zellweger just got traded. It's all offense all the time. Power play 1, no problem. Power play 2, he's the best guy on the ice. But can he defend? If he can defend, I think he will be my surprise player of this draft. People got to remember too, like it's like 65% of first overall pick or first round picks actually play over 100 games in the NHL, and then it's like 30% of second rounders and 15% of third and 10% of fourth and or even less, like 5% of fourth, 3% of fifth, and then like 1% of sixth and seventh rounds, or less than 1% of seventh rounders ever actually play in the NHL more than 100 games. So to find the right mix of guys is always so hard, and some teams just seem to do it so well over the years. And you never know. You never know who that fourth round pick number like 110. Who's that kid going to be that completely changes everything? Pick is in, they say. This has to be Keaton Berhoff. Calling it now, Keaton Berhoff. That is the right pick for the San Jose Sharks. There is no better pick for them. As they bring out Layla Edwards again to do a second announcing of the pick. So funny watching. I have no idea what they're saying. There's some kind of interaction going on with the fans. Keaton Berhoff. It's who it had to be, and that's who it is. What a great pick. This kid, too, he could easily be the best player in this draft. Very, do we want to say Rasmus Dahlin-like? Very steady, very good puck mover, leader, everything you want in a big defenseman. This guy brings it, He's tenacious. He's good at defending. He can get the puck up the ice. I do believe that in this draft, he will be a top 3 defender in this draft. It's so hard to say because there's so many good ones, but he will be a top 3 defender when it's all said and done 100 years from now from this draft class, because he is just a stud. There's always misses, and like probably the highest chance to miss is Albert Smith's. He's probably the highest chance to miss. I think like he's probably going to be a top 4 D, but there's chance that he's the guy who misses just because it's just kind of how it looks, I guess. Then I would say probably Rudolph would be the second one who may not work out. And then probably Carl's. And you have, for me, Verhoff and Reed is like your 2 pinnacle guys at the top. They knew they were getting them too. Name on the jersey. All right, I got one more chance. Is Tynan Lawrence the guy? Do I get 10 for 10? Or did I make a mistake? Most other drafts I've seen as a guy like Wyatt Cullen or maybe Ethan Belchitz getting in there. Other than that, Lawrence is usually the guy circulating in that spot around number 10. Big commercial break. First commercial break in a while that they have going on here. All right. Might as well just take a quick talking break. Try to see. I'm trying to line up some of the boys coming on. Now that we're about over an hour in. Trying to get someone to come on so that you don't just have to hear my voice the entire time. I appreciate you all for being here, though. This is awesome. I guess it goes without saying, if you haven't already, if you could like and subscribe, that would be awesome. We'd really appreciate that. We've been going for about 3 years now. We started in June 2023. The very first big event that we did was the draft. We did an audio version only where we watched it and we talked, and we were terrible. And I think we started at pick 7 because we got off work late and we missed like 7 picks, and gong show that it was. But for everyone that has kind of kept us going for the last 3 years, we really appreciate it. As life goes on, life changes. Everyone, we've all job changes and work and everything. So we appreciate everyone for supporting us and showing us some love as we continue to try and grow this thing into somewhat of a general stream for hockey fans to come watch. And again, I will not say it enough. If you would love to comment and have a chat, that would be awesome, because I know no one likes to listen to one guy talk forever. That is for sure. Let me see. Do these come here? They do. Okay, so the X and YouTube comments both come here to me here in my combination. So if you want to send from either X or from YouTube, I can get everything here all in one. Nashville, pick 10. This is everything. This is where everything boils down to for me. Is it Tynan Lawrence? Please let it be Tynan Lawrence. I think that'd be pretty cool to get 10 out of 10 players correct. I think last year I only got like 3 or something because it was so all over the place, if I remember right. Luke Bryan making the pick. Nashville legend, country boy. All right. See who their pick is. Oh, it was Wyatt Cullen. I was wrong, boys. I did not get all 10 correct, unfortunately. So close. 9 for 9 of the correct name players, not where they landed. Only got 3 for 3 on that. Even in the I think actually, did I get? I might have actually got Verhoff right. No, I had Verhoff at 8 and Rudolph at 9, so didn't even get that one right after all. All right. We're talking to Vigo Bjork on the desk now. All right, again, I know, going a little quiet, talking for an hour and 10 minutes. Feel free. I will continue talking, no problem, but it also helps. Any comments, anything anyone wants to talk about, absolutely we can chat it up. So now that the top 10 is done, I'll go over my top 10 again. So I had McKenna, Stenberg, Malhotra, which I got correct. I had Vigo Bjork at 4. That is where Dexter Rudolph went. I had Chase Reed at 5. That is where Albert Smits went. I had Tynan Lawrence at 6. That is where Carson Karls went. I had Carson Karls at 7. That's where Vigo Bjork went. No, who went 7? Chase Reed. Sorry, Chase Reed went 7th overall. I had Verhoff at 8, and Vigo Bjork went 8th. I had Rudolph at 9th. Verhoff went 9th, and then I had Albert Smits at 10, and Wyatt Cullen went 10th. So there we have it. All right, St. Louis Blues pick 11 on the board. This now is where things just go crazy. Anything can happen from here on out. This is probably preference of who they think the best player available is. And outside of the top 10, you could get 32 different answers from 32 different teams on who the 11th best player is. A lot of people have Tyler Lawrence. A lot of people have Ethan Belchitz. There's a guy like Oliver Suvanto, who I really like. I thought he was great for Finland at the World Juniors. There's a lot of good players. Nikita Klepov could go. Ryan Lynn, another defender. Xavier Villeneuve. You just do not know what people are looking at and what they're going to take. And then when we get to 15 or 16, do we see the Ruck twins go to St. Louis as well? Because St. Louis has 4 first-round picks today, which is insane. They have 11, 15, 16, and 29. San Jose still has one more at 27 as well. I think that's it for teams that have multiple. Ono Rangers have 26 now because they just acquired it. Bruins now have 23, like we found out from the Peterka trade. Oh, sorry, that should be Utah, actually. Yeah, that should be Utah 23. So Rangers, they didn't trade. Did they trade away their first? We got to go double check. Yes, 23rd overall, went to Utah. And the Rangers traded their 2026 overall. So, yes, 25 is to Vegas and 23 is to Utah. I know, that was a lot for me to spit out there. Couldn't figure it out. Tynan Lawrence. There we go. Boston University, I saw. Tynan Lawrence, 11th overall. Good for him. Do not sleep on this kid. He is unreal. We had his brother, Josh, on our podcast as well. He's playing in the KHL. He's a fantastic player. This kid could be the kid. Maybe not the top players, but let's talk Brady Martin-esque. Oh, the broadcast has Keaton Verhoff's photo in Tynan Lawrence's place. Unfortunate. But regardless, this could be the Brady Martin. Brady Martin went 5th overall, and that is how good this kid could be. The only thing that dropped his stock was he mid-season switched and moved to university from a high school program, and his production dropped off. And somehow that was a detriment. His workload got higher, his school load got higher, and he had to move to an entire new city. And for a 17-year-old, somehow that was unacceptable, and that dropped his draft stock from like top 8 to 11. Didn't drop him far, obviously, but it did drop him outside of the top 10. But good for him. St. Louis, with all their retooling that they're doing, this is a great fit. Let's talk Braden Shen. Very Braden Shen-like. Their captain could end up even like Ryan O'Reilly, very defensive. He can play the game at all sorts of levels. So good for him. Happy to see him go there. Maybe we can get him back on too. Him and his brother, talk to his brother about maybe watching him at his draft and see how their experience was. But yeah, congrats, Rudolph, Lawrence. Great to see them both go. New Jersey. Are they going to take Ethan Belchitz? That is the question. I think he's probably the best player available. 6'5", 230. Fantastic guy from Windsor. He got injured this year, so he didn't get to play in the playoffs. But if he did, I think he would have had a huge impact on Windsor's season. Although it could be Ryan Lynn. I don't know why Ryan Lynn fell. Ryan Lynn, they have him at 18. I think that he had a great year. He was a good leader for the Vancouver Giants. He had a good year for the Vancouver Giants. Maybe the best pure skater in this draft. He is unreal on his edges as a defenseman. He gets the puck out so easily with his feet or with his IQ. I don't want to see him fall past probably 14th. I think now that all those top 5 defensemen are back, Ryan Lynn is the next defenseman to go. Is it New Jersey, who just traded Nemec away? Do they see Ryan Lynn as a fit, or do they go for Ethan Belchitz? All great questions. Again, questions. Throw them in the chat. Let's have them. Let's talk. Let's create some scenarios. See what can happen. All right, still trying to get a couple guys on here. We could see a guy like Nikita Klepov get taken. If Nikita Klepov gets taken, we will have Colton come on because that is his agency's player, and he will be able to break it down for us way better than I could. Gold Star Hockey Agency. You could have up to 4 players they're thinking, and they're confident 2 will go in the first round. We'll see how that works out. Yeah. Duro dudes. Hey, perfect. There we go. We got a question. I'll toss that up on the screen so everyone can see it. Thoughts on the Blues pick? I'm a Blues fan. Man, Tynan Lawrence is fantastic. I was just mentioning that we had him on the podcast here last summer. Not only a great dude with a brother who's already gone through the draft process, he is really going to be a ready player to jump to the NHL in a couple of years. I was just saying very Braden Shen-like I could see in terms of a good comparison to the Blues directly. Leadership, drive, battles, not afraid to get in the dirty areas. Really, really love his game. I think he should have I had him ahead of Wyatt Cullen, but he went 1 pick behind, which is not bad at all. New Jersey takes Alexander Command from Sweden. Sorry, just jumping on that. They do not take Ethan Belchitz, which is surprising. But yeah, getting back to you, Duro dudes. I think he was the best player available. If he's at Boston University next year, he's going to absolutely light it up, and he's going to impress and show why he probably should have been in this top 10 mix. I had him at 6th on mine going to Calgary because I thought if Calgary wanted a forward, he was the best available at 6. So at 11, you guys are getting a heck of a player, and I think that that's definitely nothing to scoff at for sure. So good for Tynan, good for the Blues. 4 picks too. We get to see a lot happen. We'll chime in. I do think with 15 and 16, you'd probably be dumb not to take the Ruck twins if you have that chance. I just don't know if there's enough depth around the other players to not take those twins for St. Louis. I think that's probably their best choice. And if a guy slides, I'm from Kamloops. Kamloops Blazers have JP Hurlburt. He put up like 99 points this year, broke a whole bunch of records, rookie of the year. If you guys can get a guy like JP Hurlburt who's explosive offensively, and he's going to, I believe, was it Michigan next year? I believe. Either way, he's going to be a fantastic player as well. So if he slides all the way to your 29 pick and you guys can get him there, that is going to be a major steal as far as I'm concerned. But as far as Alexander Command, I know almost nothing about Command. I did see today that his odds yesterday were plus like 10,000 to go 10th overall. And then all of a sudden today, they were plus 250. So something happened where all of a sudden his name was being brought up that it absolutely could be in this top 10 range. And I wasn't sure. And here we are now that he goes 12 to the New Jersey Devils. And he's a potential 2C. They say, they just took 12th overall on an NHL projection, second line center. Guess you don't need a first line center, and maybe they want him in the NHL right away and they'll throw him on the third line. But you never know with a young guy from Europe how they translate to the NHL or not. Very interesting choice, if you ask me. Great question, Duro dudes. Thank you very much. Anyone else, please. There's a lot of people in here. Feel free. There's no stupid questions at all. It's just hockey. We're all just fans. What I say doesn't really mean anything. It's just an opinion. And feel free to contradict it if you guys think that maybe you do know more on a player than me and you want to say, hey, actually, I saw him 10 times this year, and this is what I saw out of that guy. Perfect. Let me know. I'm all for whatever happens. Islanders. What do the Islanders need? They drafted Schaefer, Eklund, and Aitchison last year in the first round. Easily the best first round in the entire draft. And now they're getting another good pick. What, 13th pick? I mean, Belchitz is right there. Big forward. Belchitz is right there. I guess on this ranking I'm looking at, Command was 14th. So I guess that Command only moved up 2 picks. He wasn't a huge reach for the Devils. I just didn't know enough about him. So I guess it caught me off guard, if you will. I would think this has to be either, again, Ryan Lynn, best defender available, or the 2 best forwards available, Suvanto or Belchitz. It has to be one of those 2, I would think. But this is where anything can happen. You never know what might come off, what team thinks they know something about a guy deeper in the draft. There's always some guy ranked 44th that gets taken in the first round. It's just a team's preference, and they take a swing, and they weren't going to have pick 44, and they like that guy so much that they're willing to take him over some of the guys that they think are in the mid-20s, and they make that jump. It'll be very interesting to see who gets picked like that and who doesn't. They have 30 seconds left on their pick as these guys are breaking it down. I do wish I could have the audio for you guys so that it wouldn't just be me. We could kind of have some feedback off some of these Sportsnet guys up here in Canada. But do not want the copyrights to go down. Anything else? So any other fans of any of the teams, thoughts, have questions about who your team took and what I think of them? Again, it means nothing, but you never know. Maybe I know something. All right. Islanders pick is in. Number 13. And they have Matt Schaefer making the pick. Good for him. This kid will be a number 1 defenseman in the NHL, no doubt about it. He is unreal. He's giving his thank you speech right now. HV71, the team. Malte Gustafsson. Okay, defender. He is right in that. They have him at 15 on this one I'm looking at. He kind of really rose up late, very late. I don't know if he's better than Ryan Lynn, but I would say player comp most likely is to Matthias Samuelsson in Buffalo. Just solid, steady, 6'4", big, lengthy defenseman that's going to be hard to get around. And if he can play aggressive, I don't see why he won't have any issues playing in the NHL. He's like 6 inches taller than Schaefer. And Schaefer just made a joke about it. That's hilarious. Name on the back? Yes, it is. Look at that. They knew who they wanted, and they went out and got him. Yeah, good pick. This is the fun part about the NHL draft. You never know. You know, we don't know these kids off the ice for the most part. Like I said, I've interviewed 2, and there's going to be like 250 taken this year, right? So you never know what their personal self is like, how they carry themselves, how they impress teams. There's so much that goes into it, and we don't know. We don't know how everything comes together. A lot of times on this side, we just see a player. Okay, this is what the player does. There's so much more that goes into it. You need a community-focused guy. You need a guy who's just going to be a leader, or do you want a guy who's just a player? You don't want him to have any leadership responsibilities because you have your leadership group dialed in already. There's so many different avenues that you could be looking for in a prospect, and these teams have a job to find who that one guy is that they want first and run with it from there. I think when you have Schaefer and you have Aitchison, I could see Gustafsson being a great pick as your second line, third line guy. He's going to be a great, probably second or third line defender. That's probably what he maxes out as. He's never going to be your top guy. But when he is your better second line pairing defender, it's going to be a really, really good player. I keep seeing these gambling ads, and they're all AI today. It's hilarious, the whole commercial. All right, anyone else? That is through 13 picks. Any other questions, comments, disagreements, anything that you guys have, feel free to add. See how Colton's doing. How's your side going on his agency side? He's a busy man today. I believe he's here because they flew him down to Miami. I know that for their prospect showcase. So I believe he may be at the draft, which is very cool. Thorough dudes, if you want to answer one for me, if you're still hanging around, do you have any preferences for your next 2 picks? Who you want these guys to take at 15 and 16 now that we're at pick 14 here. If not, that's all good. Just thought I'd throw that back at you. Pick is in for Columbus. I couldn't read Gary's lips. Oscar Hemming. Another good pick. Played for Boston in the NCAA. Big guy, though, too. 6'4", 193. He was the youngest guy in the NCAA, it says. That's awesome. First player from Finland to play in the NCAA at 17. So lots of good positive stuff. I watched him a little bit this year, and he was impressive for sure. I personally thought Oliver Suvanto was a little bit more impressive, playing in the Finnish top-tier league with Tappara and winning the league championship there. I thought that Suvanto had a really, really good year as well. But either way, Hemming, the NHL always values size. Sometimes whether it is the better option or not, and he's a 6'4", basically 200-pound centerman who is going to be hard to knock off the puck and play a very, very good structured game the way that Finns play, which is defensive, structured, and basically the way that NHL teams want them all to play. That's why so many Finns get drafted high and why they always play a good amount of years in the NHL, because their structure and support that they do back in Finland is always so good. Big hit. Now I'm watching some highlights here that I haven't seen many, but he seems to get up the ice okay. It looks like maybe his skating ability is a little clunky. Again, this is very – I saw like 3 clips there. But good for him for getting up there. He only played 24 games this year, but he finished as the 11th ranked player in the draft. So good for him. Obviously, he was maybe hurt, and then he came into the season late. All right, still looking for some thoughts here. Anyone? Who is your favorite pick so far for a team, the player to fit the team where they're at and where you think the player fits into that? Who is your guys' favorite pick so far? Mine. Man, I don't even know. So many good fits. Probably, if I had to guess, Verhoff in San Jose, I think is the perfect fit. They need him. He's going to come in. He's a right-handed D. He's going to play with Sam Dickinson probably. You got all those stars that they have, everything you need. So, yeah, I think Verhoff to the Sharks is the best option. Sorry if you guys can hear the little baby crying. Dally, what's up, buddy? Any more trades in the first round tonight? I'm going to be quiet. Man, it's already at 15. I almost feel like we've seen it all, probably. But you never know, because we've had 2 already traded in picks 23 to Utah and 26 to Vegas. Vegas could flip that. Vegas is trying to get someone like Robo or Werenski. We could see Vegas just try to use that pick to go ahead and get another player. Same with Utah, maybe. Maybe Utah doesn't want the draft pick. They do have 19, and now they have 23. Maybe they want to trade one or both to go after, let's say, Jason Robertson, let's say Dylan Larkin. You just never know. I know that Vegas wants Larkin bad, and he's on their list, and now they have yet another pick that they could throw their way. So it'll be very interesting to see exactly what might happen. But if anything, I think Vegas is the highest odds to trade it. Other than that, probably most teams are set, I would have to think, at this point. Larkin or Hellerbuck going to be traded by the end of the night or July 1st? I see only Larkin being moved if it was going to be to Vegas for this now new pick that they've acquired. Hellebuck is, he's going to be a longer drawn out thing. I know Carolina was in on him. So Carolina is his preferred destination and Carolina's in on him. That one's probably going to have to be ironed out a little bit more. Same thing with Florida. Florida wants Hellebuck. It's going to take a little longer for one of those teams to fit his cap hit into their system. Not so much for Carolina, but they have to find the right trade. Colorado moved all that cap out to not do anything. It's going to be Robo or Larkin. Well, they only have like $5 million left now that they signed Kulak and whoever else they signed today. They signed two guys today. So they have about $5 million left. Doesn't mean that they can't move things out, but it'll be interesting to see if they actually do something with it. But Larkin could be an option, I guess, because he's only like $3 million more. Hellebuck saw Ehlers in his first year out of Winnipeg win the Cup. He wants that same success, 100%. That's usually how it goes. There's one team that can't make it over the hump, and then they kind of fall apart, and their guys go on for success elsewhere. So you never know. You never know what could happen. If Florida gets them, I said earlier, Florida's not the runaway, give them the title now. They're the best team. But if they get Hellebuck, I would be pretty hard to say, hey, this team's not going to win the Stanley Cup next year. Okay. Ducks are up. What's this? Oh, no, sorry. St. Louis is back up. They're showing the Ducks for St. Louis is back up. Pick 15 and 16. They have the really cool chance to do what no team has done since the Canucks and draft two Twins at the same time, essentially. Just say with the 15th and 16th overall pick, they select Liam and Marcus Rock. And I think that's the right call. There are some good, there's Ethan Belchitz still, and there's Oliver Suvanto, and there's Ryan Lynn. But, if you have a chance to get two guys who could work out extremely well, I think you have to do it. We have a trade to announce. Okay. Is it St. Louis? Do they move back? We will see what comes up here. Is that why they showed Anaheim? They did show Anaheim because they made a trade. Yeah, I'll find out via X because I cannot read it. Dorothea signs a 7-year, $11 million extension. That's a big, big extension for him. Sorry, guys, just trying to see. There's too many accounts just congratulating the picks. I'll just search up Anaheim. So I'm seeing it now that unless they move back, well, where was Anaheim's pick? Anaheim had no pick. Okay. So Anaheim gets into the first round. Mason McTavish goes to the St. Louis Blues. So there's one for you. That's a big one for 2026 and they traded both first round picks to the Anaheim Ducks. Okay. For 15 and 16. Just like that. They have made the trade for Mason McTavish. That's crazy. There you go. If you're watching Dally, there's a big one. Huge trade right there. Wow. You just asked if there would be any more big trades, and there you have it. There's a big one. All right. Who's got anything else to say on that? Because that is a massive, massive deal for the Anaheim Ducks. For a playoff team to give up Zellweger and McTavish in the same day tells me that they're looking to go a different direction in their team. And there's a chance now, because the clock reset, there is a chance that they now trade these two picks for someone else, for a bigger player. Maybe this is Dylan Larkin. Maybe this is Brobo. Maybe this is Hellebuck. But it looks as though they've made the pick, unless he announces a trade right now. It was not a Ruck twin. Possibly, Nikita Klepov. That means we should be getting Colton on, because Klepov is one of Gold Star Hockey's players. So that will be very cool to get him on here and have him join us and talk. And I believe Klepov is American as well, regardless of the last name, because he played for the Saginaw Spirit in the OHL. And I believe he played for Team USA at the World Juniors, if I'm not wrong. Anyone else got any more questions? As we're kind of waiting to see. I thought maybe there'd be another big deal there, but there was not. Yes, he is USA born. Just watching some of his clips. Also, definitely a clunky skater for sure. Still good, but clunky. And great shot, though. Definitely a pure goal scorer, number 1 ranked right winger, it says. So I think maybe he was wearing the C there. Came 4th in points by an OHL rookie in history. By an American OHL? No, just OHL rookie. Behind Yakupov, DeBrincat, and Kane. So could turn out very, very good if he's like the latter, not so much like Yakupov. Ducks are up again. Can't believe that McTavish trade just happened. That's still crazy to me. Big price for St. Louis to pay. But now St. Louis has Connor McMichael, Mason McTavish. They just drafted Tynan Lawrence. They have Robert Thomas still, who they could flip for picks still right now. So they're not looking like they're too bad. They have Dylan Holloway. They got Broberg. Their team is looking just fine from an outside perspective. Oh, so St. Louis did keep pick 16. He was traded for picks 15 and 29. Okay, so they still do have pick 16. Okay. There's some clarity. That's good. I was wondering exactly what was the package. I just texted Colton to see if we can get him on to discuss Nikita Klepov, which would be awesome. He is super busy. He told me they are going crazy right now. So we'll see. Might not work out, obviously, because now they got to do their agency stuff now that a player actually has officially been assigned to a team. But we'll see if he's available, and hopefully he will be, because that will be awesome. And more questions? Anyone? We got all the time in the world when this finishes up. We are exactly halfway through the first round now. It's going to keep getting faster and faster as we go. But there's so much more that can still happen. Any predictions, any doubts on players, anything like that, let us know. Max Degnay, I think they said. Yeah, Maddox Degnay, who I see here, where was he projected? Like 26th overall. So he takes a big jump up 10 spots to 16. Good for him. Trying to see. Played for Quebec in the Q. 6'4" center. Another big boy center. Again, this is where when you don't know, right? When you're not sure what you're picking in a player, NHL teams just defer to size. I'm not sure why Belchitz hasn't gone yet. And I'm not sure why Cervanto hasn't gone yet, because they're 6'5" and 6'3". But NHL teams usually defer to size at this part in the draft when they're just not sure. St. Louis saw that something that they liked in him, Now they've taken 2 centers. Good chance that Tynan Lawrence isn't a center in the NHL. He could be more of a winger. But, yeah, 2 good players for St. Louis so far. I'll try and wait for his card, see if they have a player comp. I don't have one for him. I do not know enough about Maddox Dagnay. All right. Anything at all, anyone? I know I'm trying to kill the dead air here. We went over most of the trades, all the trades. Went over the Babcock hiring. If you have any questions on any of the trades that have gone on, like 20 of them now, I think we've officially hit 20 trades in the last 3 or 4 days. Let's go over some of them again. I'll rehash them. I'll answer some questions on them. Talk about the Babcock hiring because that's a big, big news piece in the NHL right now. And no one really knows where that's going to go or how that's going to work out. All we know is that he was not apologetic at all for anything. I guess we're doing GM of the year right now, middle of the first round. Okay. We have some filler time here. Looks like it's going to be Billy Guerin by the looks of it. Good call. Billy Guerin. You got Quinn Hughes. He had a great year. You know, he had Team USA that he took to and winning the gold medal over Canada. I know that's not necessarily NHL related necessarily, but he was building 2 teams at the same time. I said the same thing for John Cooper when he won. People have to remember that not only was John Cooper coaching 1 team, he was coaching 2, and he still did as good as he did. Guerin was not only managing 1 team, he was managing 2, and he still managed to do as good as he did. This Minnesota Wild team was very good this year. So, good for him. I think Billy G is one of the best managers in the NHL. There are actually not a lot of very good managers in the NHL right now. I did make a list yesterday, actually, of who I think are the best managers in the NHL. Number 1 has to be Bill Zito. Billy Zito, Florida Panthers. There's just no denying it. What Bill Zito has been able to do is completely turn that franchise into the most desirable place to play in the NHL. Love them, hate them. Florida Panthers are the number 1 team people want to go to, and Bill Zito is a big reason why people want to go there. Number 2, Eric Tulsky. His willingness to just flip, and get assets and then flip those assets and build something out of where Carolina was is super impressive. So I think Tulsky is a fantastic manager. Billy Guerin, who I just said, you know, he's just calm and steady all the time. He knows the game inside and out, really good at building teams. Definitely one of the best in the entire NHL and won a gold medal this year and had a really, really good Minnesota team that just couldn't get over the hump this year. Again, I think because the seeding in the playoffs is just not favorable when you have 2 divisions like the Atlantic and the Metro, or the Atlantic and the Central that dominated and had the 6 best teams in the NHL essentially have to eliminate 2 of them immediately. Next up, too, we got Vegas, McCrimmon. McCrimmon is since the start of the Vegas Golden Knights, he's been an absolute bullseye. So There's no doubting him. They've been to the Stanley Cup final 3 times in 9 years. Maybe they've only won one. That doesn't matter. That's like the best. That's 33% of your history you've been in the Stanley Cup finals. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, that they're going to be in the conversation or the conference finals. So he's doing a good job. Brisebois in Tampa Bay, more so 2020, 2021, 2022. I would say maybe he's been slipping 23, 24, 25, 26. We'll see. He just traded away Radish. The team wasn't good enough to beat Montreal, and let's say they've only gotten worse. And I don't know, unless they go crazy in free agency, what they're going to do. I know that he doesn't have much money to play with because he has a massive Nikita Kucherov extension that he is going to have to release on July 1st. So we'll see if he's the first $20 million player or what, because he's going to get a lot of money in his pocket, and that could be what's holding back Tampa from making moves currently. Hughes in Montreal, one of the quickest rebuilds that we've seen, and that team is right back on top of it with no issues. So I think there's no doubt there, and they could be the best team not named the Florida Panthers in the Atlantic next year. So I think that's he's done a great job there, him and Marty St. Louis. We got Greer in San Jose. The way that he's rebuilding them is so impressive. He's just doing everything right. Every pick is right. Every trade is right. He just seems to keep doing the best things for his franchise no matter what. And then we got Sakic in Colorado. I know he's not exactly been the longest tenured guy there, because McFarland, who's my last guy on the list, who's now in Nashville but was Colorado, he was there, and now Sakic has taken over president and GM roles. But what Sakic is doing, what he has done, is great. And obviously he traded Drury and Colton to Nashville, who McFarland signed. And McFarland's going to be in Nashville and try and make them a winner, just like he did in Colorado. So there you have it. Random, off-the-cuff list of my best GMs. And the rest of them are not good. Personally, they are not doing a good job. There are some who still deserve a chance to, really not be judged, because guys like in Vancouver, they haven't had anything yet. So, another trade. But yeah, we'll see how the GMs work out, but that's my list of best. LA trades 17 pick to Utah for 19th and 82. So Utah trades up to be there now. Okay. So who does Utah want? They just traded away a right winger, or a winger, I guess, in JJ Peterka. Do they want Ethan Belchitz with this pick? And they now have 3 minutes to decide. I thought decentralized was supposed to make this faster. We've already been going for 2 hours, and we are only halfway through, which is pretty crazy that this is still going on. But give me some. Now that we're halfway through, we're 16 picks in. Give me some comments. Give me some questions on some players, who you liked, who you didn't like the pick. Let me know, and we'll debate some things. Again, I'm trying to get some more voices on here so that I'm not the only one. But we'll see. We'll see what comes to fruition here. I know I'm trying to keep up some of the dead air here because there's a lot. When they do a trade, then all of a sudden there's another 3 minute countdown and more talking, and I'm just watching guys' heads bobble on TV as they're all talking. So these trades are helping, but not helping. Are the Mammoth trading the pick? Gary came out early. Oh, it says pick is in. Okay. Definitely had some good surprises lately. Oh, we're doing another video. Yeah, they are definitely not cutting down on the time on this. That is for sure. I thought for sure we'd be at the 2 hour mark, pretty close to done. This is looking like it's going to be 4 hours. Who's your guys? Let's go favorite trade. Let's talk favorite draft pick. Give me some questions, some comments, and we can go over it. All right, let's see what they do here. This is confusing because all these kids are wearing Vegas colors and jerseys, but this is actually Utah's pick. There's been like 8 minutes of between picks. This is a long speech, whatever he is giving. People are crying. I wish I knew what he was talking about. I have no idea. There we go. Now they're making their pick. Ethan Belchitz finally goes. Probably slid because of his injury, I would think. But this is one heck of a player. 6'5", absolute beast. Somehow almost fell to 20. If he turns out, I said this to Stephen Ellis, this kid, if you do a redraft, he could be in the top 5 of this redraft. He's that potential, that good, that big. Think Tom Wilson, pretty much exactly. For myself, Stephen Ellis said, think Jamie Benn. So pretty much the sky's the limit for this kid because he could do a lot of things. Anyone got anything? This is extremely delayed. They're taking forever. I can't believe we're 2 hours and 10 minutes in, and that pick alone took almost 20 minutes with trades and commercials, and then that video, the speech there. I don't believe this is what they intended when they went to decentralization. They didn't want the draft to be 3 hours long, and it's looking like it's going to be 4 at this point. Anyone got opinions on that? The decentralization? Do you like that the teams are there? Do you not like that the teams are there? What is your kind of thoughts on that? All right, we're almost done these commercials. Oh my goodness. So I want to say thanks again, everyone who's watching. I do really appreciate it. I know I'm trying to fill in some gap here, but I just want to say thank you. Appreciate you. And as always, if you could like this, subscribe, and that would mean a lot to us. Like I said, we're going on about 3 years now, and we're really proud and appreciative of everyone that's helped us get this far down the road. So thanks again. Oh, we finally back. That was like a 7-minute commercial break after like 8 minutes of nothing for one pick. It's been like 15, 20 minutes. They just showed all the draft rooms. You can definitely tell which teams are drafting today and which ones are not. That's pretty funny. Lots of teams just with empty tables as they're not doing much, and then some teams with full tables because they're drafting the next 5 or 6 picks here. Capitals pick is in. Looked like they said Suvanto. Oliver Suvanto, yes. 18th overall, Oliver Suvanto. Finally, he goes. I would say he fits exactly what Washington is trying to do with this new look team that they're kind of assembling. Very responsible player. I do not want to say Anton Lundell because Anton Lundell is an amazing player in his own right. But mini Lundell, second or third line center that's going to excel and be a really, really good, productive player on both sides of the puck. I think it's a great pick for Washington. He definitely fits exactly what they're looking for. All right, show some highlights of him. He only had 11 points in Tappara, Finland, but again, that is one of the premier men's leagues. And then he was excellent, absolutely excellent for Finland at I believe the U18s and the World Juniors. He played both, and he was lights out at both. A guy that any team I think would be extremely happy to have on their team. He's the third player taken directly from Tappara. It says him, Line, and Barkov. Not bad company to be in at all. Those two are both second overall, of course, but still, good chance that this kid turns into something great. Talking to McKenna on TV now. I know I'm kind of getting stale here, guys. I'm just looking for any kind of comments, feedback. I've worked through most of my material. I don't have much left. Trying to get some guests. Trying to get some questions, anything just to make it more interactive for those watching. Man, still how's there still 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on this next pick? That's crazy. Seems like things are going at a snail. It's been about 45 minutes and they've done 2 picks. Or 30 minutes and they've done 2 picks, approximately. They picked, with the trades and everything, pick 16 was at like an hour and 45 of this. And we're 2 hours and 15 minutes in now. Which is just insane that it slowed it down that much. Working on a few irons in the fire, but nothing yet seems to be working out entirely. Again, guys, welcoming any and all comments so that we can kind of keep more dialogue up here when the TV goes completely dead with it muted and they're just talking to McKenna for 3 minutes. There's not much I can do when I don't have any feedback. King's pick is in. They always have some kind of a celebrity, usually there in their stead. So we'll see who they have show up. No one. Okay, they just make the pick. Elton Hermansson from Sweden's second division. Where was he ranked? I'm not sure if this one that I'm looking at even has him in the first round. It did. Okay, never mind. He was 19th overall. There you have it. I know absolutely nothing about him, unfortunately. Let me look a little bit. So, right winger for Modo Sweden, which is the J20 league, 6'1", 181 pounds. See if they show some highlights here in a sec. I can give a brief update on how he looks as a player from a 2-second non-educated clip. If you are still here, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, whether you're on X or you're on YouTube, heart it on X, retweet it if you can. We can get some more people in here, get some more conversation going on YouTube. You could just like, subscribe, follow us, of course, too, on X if you want to. That would be awesome. You doing another video? Billy Garen still talking. It has been another almost 15 minutes since that last pick went in. This is crazy. I don't know what they're doing. Or I guess 2 picks in the last 15 minutes again. My brother, little brother, thank you for the question. Thoughts on the Sharks trading for the 9 pick to get a defenseman? I think they absolutely robbed Ottawa blind in giving them Eklund, and that's exactly what they needed when they got Verhoff. Yeah, I think that the Sharks got exactly what they wanted out of the first half of this draft with Stenberg and Verhoff. It was perfect. Thank you to my little brother Adam for question on that one. Coming in hot. Looks like we're gonna hopefully in 20 minutes or so get Colton to come on and talk Nikita Klepov, which would be awesome. Get a little extra insight. I forget who this guy is again. He's back. Back for the Buffalo pick. Let's see who Buffalo takes. Ilya Morozov from the NCHC. Crazy. All-time Miami University points leader. Or points by 17-year-olds, sorry. From Miami, Ohio. Now, is that the first guy who was not projected in the first round? I believe so. That is the first. Oh, no, there he is, 20th overall. Okay, so far, I think, because, he was projected to go to Buffalo too. That's an exact correct pick that they had here on this site. Lots of centermen going. They said this was not a deep centerman draft, and all of a sudden we've had like 6. Malhotra, Bjork, Lawrence, Command, Degne, Suvanto, and Morozov. So clearly the centermen are better than what was projected, because that's a lot of good centers taken. Thoughts on the Babcock hiring for my brother again? My brother, no an Oilers fan as well. It's hard to say. Like I said earlier, I joked about, well, they already brought back Stan Bowman, who had bad enough press from his days in Chicago. So why not double down and take Babcock? And I said, well, they might as well grab Carter Hart too while they were at it. They're just collecting the bad boy misfits. But if he gets them over the hump, I guess good enough. If the stories come out that he was just as bad as everywhere else because he did not take accountability, he did not care at all, really, about what happened in Columbus. He said his wife wanted him to leave, and like just a mess, right? So I don't know. I don't know what his what is the final product going to look like? I don't know what that's going to look like, but we will see. We will find out, or we won't, because I heard Ryan Whitney say today that maybe DJ Smith is there just in case he doesn't make it to the start of the season. Right, still trying to line things up. But yes, Mike Babcock. Good, bad, we don't know. All I know is it's going to push some players from signing there. I truly believe that. Some good players will not want to sign there because they've signed him as their coach, which will be interesting to see the fallout. Is it worth it to have him? I don't know. He has only won one Stanley Cup, too. He had a God Squad Canadian team in 2010 when he won the gold medal. So I don't know. I don't know if he's actually a good coach or not. Anything else? Any other questions from anyone out there? We're now 20 picks in. That's a good chunk of the first round. I don't know if we're going to make it all 32. I've been saying this is ridiculous. Like, I'd have to look back. Since the 2 hour mark, we've done 4 picks, which is pretty insane. We're 2.5 hours into this stream. I started basically at the McKenna pick right when it began. So if you started at 3:30, you are 3 hours in. If you started at 4, you're 2.5 basically, which is crazy to me that it's taking this long to get this done. It's a lot of drawn out, a lot of theatrics that aren't making much sense. I'll say probably at 3 hours, barring some guests, if I can get some, things will change. Thoughts on how Bieber terribly announced first overall pick? Yeah, I didn't get to hear it, but it looked bad. They basically gave him the keys to the castle, I guess, because he's A-list star, kind of the biggest hockey fan of the celebrities, other than Will Ferrell, maybe. So I don't know. Calling him Mr. McKenna, I've heard, instead of Gavin McKenna, announcing it kind of silly. It's a show, I guess, at the end of the day. They're trying to create this as more of an experience. And that's one McKenna will remember for sure, at the very least. But no, not a fan of it. Get the GMs back, get the teams back, make real picks, have them shake all the hands, make it professional again. That's my vote, at least for the draft. Yeah, feel free again. Any more comments? Right now, it is super dead. There has been 4 picks in the last 30 minutes. We're running out of things to talk about. And I'm trying to keep it going as best I can without having any guests or anything pop in like I've been planning. But we will still see. Hopefully, we'll have a guest in 10 minutes or so. That is the hope. If Colton can come on. All right, let's go. Get the Flyers pick. Or is there a trade? Because it does not say pick is in. There's a trade. At least we got some excitement here. Again, I'm not sure what it is until it pops up because I cannot hear it. Philly trades 21st overall to San Jose for 27th, 62nd, and 120th. So whoever San Jose wants at this pick, they want them bad. They gave up 3 picks to move up 6 spots. Quite the jump. And Philly dropped back to 27. Oh, there's a fan with a gritty head. He just threw it on the ground. He's not happy. All right, what do we think of that trade? That's a pretty big trade, moving up 6 spots. Who do we think that they could be taking is the question. Give me your thoughts, predictions. All of the above. All are welcome. Now, the only dilemma, we got to wait another 3 minutes for this pick. This is dragging on beyond belief. They are not doing this at a fast pace, that is for sure. We got 2 comments. Thank you very much. First one, thoughts on Robertson declining $50 million from Seattle. I did read that I think it's called Jock Tax. Their new X account that's blown up. If you don't follow them, go follow them. That the state of Washington has recently implemented a 9.9% millionaires tax. So if you get $15 million a year over 8 years, you're giving up $1.5 million a year, which is $12 million to the state of Washington. So I can see why maybe he's being hesitant on signing there, on top of other taxes. That's not just the only tax. That's an additional tax on top of the other taxes. So to lose $12 million is a big deal. And the Sharks have made their pick. They selected Ryan Lynn. What a pick. So they get Ryan, who I said earlier, one of the best skating defensemen, one of the best puck moving defensemen. He plays great defensively. I don't know why he fell so far. I really loved him as a player this year for the Vancouver Giants. I think this is a fantastic pick for San Jose to jump here and take him. Good for them. And then another one, do the Ruck twins go back to back? It's looking less and less likely. For whatever reason, who is it? Is it Liam Ruck? Which one? Liam Ruck is valued as a first rounder. Marcus Ruck is not. I was thinking maybe St. Louis would do it at 15 and 16. Right now, it's not really looking like anyone. They maybe will go back to back, but if we're looking at a team who has 2 picks in the first round still from here on, we're talking about Ottawa, 23 and 32. There's a chance that with those 2 picks, they go after someone like that they would want. Someone like the Ruck twins. That's my guess. Best player available, bias-wise, is JP Hurlburt. I don't know how he's falling so far. Almost 100 points in the WHL for the Kamloops Blazers. Rookie of the year. CHL Rookie of the Year. Just one of the best players in this draft class. It's so funny how a guy can be ranked like 15th, and then just because his season ended, other players had different playoffs and all that, and all of a sudden the player can be forgotten about, in my opinion, because he had a fantastic year this year for the Kamloops Blazers. And like I said, I believe he's going to Michigan next year, so it'll be interesting to see how he does there. But, yeah, I think that's it. Just the Sens for the Rucks. That's my guess. If the Rucks are going anywhere, they're going to Ottawa. No one else has 2 picks left. Terrible, but I could see, for whatever reason, I don't know why. I do not know why Liam is more coveted than Marcus. I don't know what the difference is. They had like 2-point difference this year. They're both very skilled in their own way. Very Henrik and Daniel Sedin-like. Clearly, teams don't think they're as elite as that. But I just don't know why, regardless if they go together, why one is valued so much less than the other. It's quite confusing for me. Be interesting to see if Ottawa does trade up or trade back if they think that they'll be there. Say they trade back for 31 or 30 with the Flames. It'll be interesting to see what they do if they choose to go with the Ruck twins. Yeah, watching Ryland's highlights. He is an unreal skater. You want to know the best skater in the draft, it's this kid. This kid can skate so good. They're showing a big hit because he's good at stepping up, good at getting back. I could be wrong. He could maybe not be the best skater in the draft, but I think he is. He just glides out there. And that's what you need in a defenseman these days, someone who just floats around out there. Zach Parr, our own Dakota. Hurlburt to Calgary. You heard it here first. If he falls to 30, that is a great steal for the Flames. I think that would be awesome if that's where he goes. And I know you would love that too, because you were hoping Hurlburt went 6th earlier in the year when he was really high ranked. I know that you were like, oh, we can take him, first round, wherever they fell. And now it's like, okay, they have a chance to get him with pick 30. He's a heck of a player, that's for sure. How do we feel about Burakovsky going for only a 5th rounder? I'm surprised it wasn't more. His value just keeps getting worse and worse and worse as the years go on. I think he was playing 3rd and 4th line with Chicago. I think they were lucky that they got fifth. I don't know, man. Like fourth to sixth was about as bad. Just with the way that the trade values have been, like top guys have been getting overpaid trades and bottom guys have been getting underpaid trades. So I think that that's, a couple years ago he would have been for a third round pick. I think he was for a third round pick, but not anymore, unfortunately. Joe McGinley to Calgary, third round. Already heard it here first. Well, hopefully he does go. Oh, there's one. There's one Ruck twin to Pittsburgh. Liam Ruck. Good for him. You hate to see that for his brother just having to sit there and watch this happen. That's tough, but good for him. First Ruck twin off the board. Looks like they both won't go to Pittsburgh unless something drastically happens. But as you said, Dak, third round, Joe McGinley to Calgary. If he falls to the third round, I think that's crazy. But he didn't have the best year, but that would be crazy. We were always wondering what was going to happen. It's the biggest thing. They put his brother up on the screen. That's hard. I wouldn't show the brother because that is like they talked about it. Their dream is to play together in the NHL, and I just don't see that being an option now. Pittsburgh's second round pick isn't until 54. Marcus Ruck is ranked 33. I really doubt that he makes it that far unless Pittsburgh tries to trade in to the first and get him. So, top guys left available based on this are I guess Xavier Villeneuve, Tommy Beal, Mathis Preston, and JP Hurlburt, I'm saying. Could be very interesting. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, sorry, I'm still working the phones, trying to get things lined up here. Let's see. Any other questions? Oh, there we go. Dirty Bird. Sorry, I missed you. Heard if JP goes to Dallas, he will also be untouchable like McDavid. Well, the Dallas Stars owner is the owner of the Kamloops Blazers. So you never know. You never know what could happen. But that didn't work for Logan Stanko, and they traded him like no problem. So. All right, pick 23. No Blazer in Dallas is ever untouchable. They love drafting them, but never hold on to them. This is true, except for Semenoff. They just re-signed Matthew Semenoff yesterday. Other than that, Jerome McGinley traded immediately to Calgary. I don't think the owner of the Blazers was the owner of the Stars then. Stankoven, Jermaine Lowen, they just let him walk, etc. We have another trade. My goodness. Carolina going to make a splash with the 31st pick and trade for Helly. No, Helly's worth more than that. Utah trades 23rd pick to Detroit for Sebastian Cossa. Okay, Utah going after young goaltender Sebastian Cossa, and the Detroit Red Wings getting into the fray here with pick 23. Very interesting. Finally, Cossa goes somewhere. Finally, if you know our podcast, we have been like, what the hell is Detroit doing with their goaltenders and just rotting Cossa? There it is. They move him for a first-round pick. Great value for Detroit. Great value for Cossa. Because Utah might as well make him Vizmelka's backup. No doubt about it. Throw him right into the NHL. Love this deal for both sides. Love Cossa getting out of the number one prospect hell in the NHL, which is the Detroit Red Wings. No doubt about it. And we have 3 minutes to wait again for Detroit's pick. 2 minutes, apparently. But holy cow, the picks are taking forever. Stevie Y, the Yzer plan is not working. Dylan Larkin on his way out. Well, clearly, let's just say this too. This shows how high the price tag is for Larkin. That Cossa cost 23rd overall. Larkin is easily multiple firsts. McTavish got multiple firsts today. Larkin is probably going to be for more. Dally, you asked the right question a little while ago. Is there going to be more trades? Since you said that, there's been like 6. It's been an unreal unraveling of what's going on right now. "45 seconds. At some point here, I'm going to need a phone charger. I might have. Kind of. We can make do. Steph, the rest of the guys are busy, very busy, trying to get multiple guys. Oh, JP Hurlburt goes to Detroit, Dakota. You will not be happy with that. 97 points, 68 games with our Kamloops Blazers here in Kamloops. Most points among all CHL rookies. Hopefully some will be here for sure, like I said. But as of right now, it's just me. So bring the questions. Let them loose, man. We're having a good time here. My brother, no, fuck, you should be in Edmonton. I don't know when Edmonton was going to get him. So I don't even think they have a first rounder. No. Edmonton was definitely not getting Hurlburt. That is for sure. Oh, poor guy. End of a career going to Detroit, though. We wanted anyone else but him to go to Detroit. They are just, we'll see you in 8 years, kid. And then they'll trade you for a third-round pick and move you on. And it'll be nothing he did wrong. It's just how Detroit uses their prospects. One of the top goal scorers in this class, 100%. Extremely smart. Almost carried this team on his back. When they talked about Malhotra taking ice time away from guys who were drafted last year, JP Hurlburt did that exact same thing. Nathan Bain drafted second round to Chicago. He took his ice time away. He took it from everyone. Tommy Lafreniere drafted third or fourth round to the Oilers. He took everyone's ice time away. He's just that good of a player. So they gave him the assistant captain as a 17-year-old coming in. He's a real leader. Just everything you could have wanted from this kid, I think they're going to get, but just Detroit doesn't use their prospects. It is so unfortunate. Who's up next? Canucks. Canucks could take the other Ruck twin if they want Marcus. That is a possibility. They could take a guy who was just playing for the Vancouver Giants this year, Mathis Preston. Oh, lots could still happen here. What do we got? 8 picks left. There still could be tons of trades. There could be a whole lot of stuff going on. We are 3 hours into this live stream, and we still have a quarter of the draft left. So they're doing approximately 8 picks an hour is what's going on, which is insanely slow. Should not be a thing. They should have been done like half an hour ago. Well, let's give it a break here. You know, Vancouver's stupid. They were stupid. This is a whole new management, whole new coaching staff, whole new everything. I don't know if you have to tell me if you like the Malhotra pick or not. But regardless, we have to see what this management group does now. You just never know. No Kosa. What do you mean? No Kosa. Like, no, he got traded. Like, you wanted him in Edmonton. My brother. No Kosa. What do you mean? Because he would be great in Edmonton. No doubt about it. That would be a great pickup. But you guys didn't have a first round pick to offer them that clearly they coveted for him. But thank goodness for Kosa, he's out. Vancouver Canucks, second pick. Now are they doing another video? Okay. Little Spencer Moore. This is a great video. I will advocate for this video all day long. Hopefully he gets to do their pick. That would be pretty cool. This is a long video though. We'll see. See how long they take. Anyone else got any questions while we're waiting for this video to go through? Unless you're watching it, because it is definitely one of the better videos to watch. This may be the pick if he's making it. Adam Novotny. Good pick. This thing has him ranked. Where are you, Novotny? Oh, maybe you're in the second round. He's a good player, though. Novotny, I've heard his name in other areas. He's 2021-ish. 6'1", 204, left wing from Peterborough. So best player available to me is still Xavier Villeneuve. I think he had a fantastic U18 tournament, and I think he will be on Team Canada's World Junior team next year. Nurse is going to be traded soon. Well, hopefully. He asked for the trade, but I don't know how many teams want him. That's the problem. The $9 million is always a problem, and I don't think the Oilers want to retain any of that, unfortunately. What do you think, Steph? Do you like that Canucks pick if you're still hanging around? Malholtra and Novotny for the Canucks with their 2 picks. Kosa has the potential. So if Kosa can get a first, Nurse can get a first. Kosa has the potential on his side. He has played some NHL games. Not many, like 2 or 3, very few. He has the potential to be a number 1 goaltender. So 23rd overall is pretty fair. Nurse is more of a liability. Like Morgan Rielly was being talked about being traded for a mid-round pick, and I would take Morgan Rielly over Darnell Nurse pretty much any day. So I'd like to see the Oilers go after Carlo if they want mid-round picks. Well, Carlo, they won't even. Oh, what was Buffalo in on Carlo? They said I didn't like a second rounder or something. They were looking for, I believe, and that was a division price, so maybe it would be a better price if it goes to the West Coast. Never know. But Carlo to the Oilers would be good. The Leafs just shackled him and didn't give him a chance. And any of those Oilers defensemen that leave, Morgan Rielly or Carlo, whatever, they are going to be good wherever they go because I think they're just tired of Toronto, which is exactly what McKenna has to worry about as he's stepping into that spotlight there. That place just sucks the life out of you. Any other trades anyone wants to see? Yeah, McKenna got a taste when Bieber not even saying his first name. Bunch of brain dead people in Toronto. Bunch of dumb media people, that is for sure. That overcritical everything and push guys like Mitch Marner out. Goofy. All right, Ottawa on the clock, finally. What was that? That was like another 10 minutes there. Almost, or 5 minutes in between picks. Because it was like the Canucks, yeah. I hate where they put this pick thing. It's down at the bottom of the screen, right behind where my laptop's all set up. Can't even see it. Jonas Lagerberg Hohen. That is a guy I have not heard of. I take it he's not at the draft because there's no lights on at the couches. There's no TV crew for the kid. This is they didn't even show anything about him. They just completely skipped over it. Obviously, the panel's talking about it. But what was that? That was the weirdest thing ever. I wish I knew what they were talking about right now because I have no idea who this guy is. Was he supposed to go in the second round? No, I do not see him first or second round on any board. Does this have 6'3", 178 from Lexan Jr.? I have no idea what his ranking was previously. All right, let's go. What do we got? 7 more picks? Something like that? 6 more picks? Let's plow through them. All right, so you think the Rangers ship Laugh out for a haul of picks next year? I mean, his time is up. Well, I don't know. Maybe they want to see a year of him taking over Panarin's spot and see what that actually works out to. And you think the Rangers ship out Shesterkin to Florida in a massive blockbuster out of nowhere? That's the thing is the Rangers are stuck in what are they doing? I think they should have traded the 5th overall pick for something. Whatever the player they could have got is better than what they, Schmitz is a good player, but is he going to be in the NHL next year? Maybe that's why they drafted him. Maybe they think he will be. But as far as I know, the Rangers, they're just so confused. They're trading Trocheck. Maybe they're trading Fox, but they're not trading Shesterkin, apparently. It's all over the place. So, yeah. I don't know what the Rangers are going to do. They could hold on to all their cards and try and do a quick retool and go for it, or they could fold all their cards and sell everything off and just rebuild. For a team that lucked into Lafreniere when they had the 14th overall pick and jumped to number 1, which then made them change the rules. You can only jump 10 picks. They didn't lose any players then, and somehow yet no one wants to play there all of a sudden, and their team is falling apart. Very interesting. And we have another trade. This is going to be 4 hours long. This is craziness. Who made a jump? Montreal? Looks like Montreal made a pick or a trade. The fans look. Montreal trades 20, or Vegas trades 26 to Montreal for 28 and 2027 third. So it cost a third round pick to move up 2 picks. Montreal fans look excited. Maybe for Xavier Villeneuve, I would think. French defender. Not too much left. Tommy Beal played for Moncton in the Q. Villeneuve played for Blainville Brosbuand, however you want to say it. There's Mathis Preston. There's Marcus Ruck. Interesting. Now they get their 3 minutes to figure it out. Minute and a half. Here we go. Toss some more stuff in the comments so it's not so dead when the time runs out there. Because we are running out of things. These trades keep happening, but they're so short just for picks. Nothing really major to impact. But I would imagine, I would have to imagine Montreal wants Xavier Villeneuve here. There's Jack Hextall too. He's a good player. I'm going to put my money on Villeneuve. Give me something, anything to go off. Montreal's pick is in. Here we go. They take Gleb Pugachev. I saw that he's potentially was going to go first round around this spot. So right winger from the Russia J20 League, which is not even the MHL. So he's not in the KHL and he's not in the MHL. He's just in their J20. Kid looks good though. Kid has talent, that's for sure. That's a second guy from Colton's Gold Star hockey agency that's been taken. Thoughts on Eklund being worth 9th overall? I think the Ottawa Senators had a stroke and gave up 9th overall pick. I don't think they needed Haltonen, and I don't think they needed that third guy, Solomon or Sullivan, whatever his name was. I think that they could have probably just done 25th overall and just got Eklund, and I think they would have been pretty happy with that, or 25th and something else. Like they have their 2 other first round picks. They have 30th or whatever, 31st or 32nd, whatever it is, somewhere in there. They did not need to give up 9th, would be what I think. It was a bit of a steep price. Yeah. Thoughts on Bowen Byron being treated like a god in Chicago? I think this was a terrible, terrible pick. Clearly, no one really knew the order of how it was going to fall for the defenseman. Clearly, no one thinks that any of them are ready. I can't believe he's going to sign a 4 or 5 year deal at 12 to 12.5 million. That's pretty insane. So, yeah, I think it was not the best pick. They do get Jordan Greenway in this as well, which, wow, I don't know why I like Jordan Greenway in the trade more than I like Bowen Byram, but I do. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a puzzling one. 4th overall. That's a big price. Huge price. Okay. Philly's pick is in. What is this, 27? Let's go. 5 more. Get these done. Maxim Sokolovsky from the OHL. Maxim, not Maxim. Maxim. 6'7.25". My goodness, that's a big boy right there. Well, good for him. Towering defenseman. Yeah, he went at exactly where he was projected. Playing for London in the OHL. From Kazakhstan. Philly has tried this before, though. They did a large portion where they just went massive at defense and drafting and trading, and it didn't work out. So we'll see. I don't know enough about this kid to criticize him, but we'll see. We'll see if this was the right pick. All right. 5 more. 5 more picks. Let's buzz through this as fast as we can. At the 3-hour mark, we were at pick, 22? Or 24? No, 24, we were at the 3-hour mark. So we've gone 3 picks in 3 picks in 20 minutes, I guess. That's not too bad. If I'm right, they're finally kind of picking up the pace a little bit. Yeah, none of these tall defensemen in the first round don't really work out. It was Myers was pretty much the only one. Is Washington going to make a push for the cup this year, or have they missed the window? I think everything Washington is doing was to show Ovi that they're not done. Not that they're going to win a cup, but that he's not going to come back to a team that he has to just babysit across the finish line. There's a real chance John Carlson re-signs with them. He gets his best buddy back. Nick Backstrom is in the organization. There's a real chance that Ovi comes back, plays out the season, maybe does one more after that. He's definitely only doing one season at a time. There we go. When he signs. So it'll be very interesting. I don't think they're going for the cup, but for somehow they've just restarted their window with or without Ovi. It's like reopening. in a way. They have the Protas brothers. Now they've got Kyrou. They've got Tuck. They've just kind of created a nice little soft spot of the right amount of youth and upcoming players. So, yeah, I think that their window, let's call it open, but not competitively open, I guess, in a way. I do not think Solowski. Oh, he was. Yeah, Sokolowski. He was there. Guys who have not been taken that are projected first rounders so far are. I think he went, didn't he? Did Elton Hermanson go? Yes, he did. 19th overall. That's what I thought. So it is Xavier Villeneuve. He's really by far the best player left. Tommy Beal or Bleal, good player left. Marcus Ruck. Jack Hextall is another good player. Juho Pipparainen, who very quickly jumped into the top 10 for a very short period of time and now is like ranked 31st. I would put money on Washington be a sleeper for Cup favorite. Yeah, that's not a bad pick, brother. Not a bad pick. Trade again. Vegas, what are you doing to us, man? Oh, man. This is the most trades in a draft. I love it, though. I mean, we've been wanting the draft to not be so boring, and here it is. We're at like over 20 trades. If you count the week, it's like over 40. Pick 29 and 1/17 from Anaheim to Vegas for 28. So Anaheim moves up one spot when they already traded to get. They traded McTavish for that pick and pick 15, and now they're trading that pick to move up one over Vegas. Vegas is like, hey, we don't keep these draft picks anyways. Might as well get another pick and have some more value. No reason for them to draft. They don't do anything with their picks. Like I said earlier, McCrimmon, easily one of the best general managers in the league. No problem with him making all these moves around because he knows what he's doing. But now, another 2.5 minutes on the clock. This has been so long, my TV just asked me if I'm still watching. That is crazy. All right, Anaheim's pick is in. We didn't have to wait the whole thing. That's good. They better have known who they wanted trading up. Who'd they take? Marcus Nordmark from the Sweden Junior League. Led Djurgården with 38 points in 25 games. Djurgården U20. Not bad. I'm not sure if he's Norwegian or if he is Swedish. Nordmark. I want to say he's Norwegian, playing in the Swedish league. Okay, we've taken half an hour now. They caught up to their time mark. Half an hour to do 4 picks. We've been 8 picks every hour, and they're right on track again. Oh, no, he is Swedish. That is the most Swedish players ever in the first round since 1979 with 7. Never been more than 6. There was in 23, 21, 18, 11, 09, and 93. There was 6 Swedes taken. There was just 7 taken today. And while Sweden did win the World Juniors, so I see that them finally getting over that World Juniors hump, a lot of those players are going to have some pretty good eyeballs on them. So it does make some sense if you think about it. Okay, we will see if Vegas trades back. All right, I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back for the final few. All right, we're back. They take Juho Pipparainen with their pick, the Vegas Golden Knights. Trying to find a plug-in. Like I said, I've seen him as high as 4th, and then he just completely fell off a cliff. So, not sure what happened there, but either way, I think he's a pretty decent defender that they just got. All right, what are we thinking? What do we got? What pick was this? 29? 3 picks left. Calgary's up. They could have taken JP. Do they go defender again and take Xavier Villeneuve? Does Calgary take Marcus Ruck? Keeping him close to home. Who's Pipparainen? Pipparainen also plays for Tappara. So he also won the Finnish Elite League with that team. 3 picks left. Dakpar, you in the chat? Who are the Flames going to take? '30th overall, Calgary Flames. Pick is in for the Flames. Lanny making the pick again. Come on, Lanny. It's been 3.5 hours since Lanny was back up there. 3 hours, let's call it. That is insane. Lanny's giving a big speech. Come on. Let's make the pick here. Flames select Jack Hextall. That is a good pick. Jack Hextall is a good pick for the Flames. Finally, Jack Hextall goes. The son of Ron Hextall, I believe. If I am correct. He's also committed to Michigan State for next year. Michigan State, North Dakota, Boston U, Boston College. Those are going to be some very hard teams to beat. Man, I didn't realize that they had they handpicked kids to be down at these couches. There's a lot of kids sitting at these couches still not getting picked. And there's a lot of kids up in the stands having to walk down to get drafted. That's pretty great. You think that each team, I guess, would submit their draft board, but that's crazy. It's a lot of kids having to make the walk, and a lot of kids just awkwardly sitting at these tables with only 2 picks left. Not drafted yet. Sleeper pick in the draft or sleeper pick in the NHL? Like, do I think someone's going to make the NHL like Emmett Finney or Emmett Finney was a big one. Someone like that? Or do I think someone in the NHL is going to step it up? Which one? I can do both. Screw it. I'll do both. From this draft, outperform expectations. I would not be surprised if we see Ivor Stenberg win the Calder over McKenna. I would not doubt that. And I also think a guy like Vigo Bjork could make the Jets right out of camp and just totally impress and take exactly where Jonathan Toews was last year and make it look like he's not even missing from their lineup. So that would be very interesting for them. And so many of the defense are going to college. So maybe Albert Smits, if the Rangers put him in, that could be one. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. And then so many trades have happened. What a down year this year. That we could see turn it up. I guess Matthews maybe with McKenna on his side. Like, he had not the best year last year, injuries or whatever you want to call it aside. Like, maybe. I don't know. You know what? Pittsburgh's really good at turning guys into something. Let's go Hendrix Lapierre getting traded to Pittsburgh. See if he could turn into something. Oh, there's the answer. You meant team. Oh, well, I gave you those anyways. Who's going to outperform their expectations as a team? Who? Not Detroit, not Ottawa. Buffalo's lost Byram and Tuck. I'd have to imagine that we think that Buffalo would be maybe worse. Maybe Buffalo, because if their team stays the same, they're going to be like, oh, expectations are pretty low. Them or San Jose. San Jose could absolutely be a playoff team next year. There's no doubt about it. So I'll go Buffalo in the East, San Jose in the West. Holy cow. 2 picks left. 3 hours and 40 minutes long. Can we get there before the 4-hour mark? Can we do it? I don't know if I believe, even though Carolina's pick is either on the board or traded. We will see what happens. Any other questions while we're apparently waiting? The pick is not in and the counter is down. So I'm assuming there's a trade. That's the only thing that makes sense is why this is taking so long. Looks, if I was a betting man, like the Carolina Hurricanes have traded the 31st overall pick. Adam, if you are right, where is that? Right here. 31st pick included in a trade for Connor Hellebuyck. Let's find out right now, because they were also shopping Alexander Nikishin. So if we're talking Nikishin, 31st overall, possible other, maybe Bradley Nadeau. It does not say pick is in. There is a trade. There it is. Let's find out, shall we? This is going to take until 4 hours. Carolina trades 31st pick to Nashville for 42nd and 56. Lame. Nothing big. This is what I thought was going to happen, but no. No, it did not. Just a pick trade. But Nashville gets back into the first round. This is where Nashville should take a guy like Xavier Villeneuve. The best defender available. Still, I've been saying that, and 5 defenders have been taken. The best defender available. Pure offensive skill. Give this guy a chance to be a first-round pick. Carolina fans are leaving. That's unfortunate. They waited all the way to pick 31 just to see their team traded away. They waited the 4 hours for nothing. I agree. Boo. No more big trades. But we do have Ottawa at the last pick. You never know. And maybe Nashville is trying to flip this pick. Who knows what's going on over there? Wherever McFarland is. Everyone's got to remember, too, Chris McFarland was just the GM of the Colorado Avalanche until recently. So I do actually expect the Nashville Predators to make some noise. And the pick is in. So they are keeping this pick. They're not flipping it. I did not see the name on Gary's lips. Couldn't read it. Tommy Bleal. There we go. Good pick. I didn't mind Tommy Bleal. Good defender. He was, in my opinion, the second best defender available. Still, I cannot believe Xavier Villeneuve is about to fall out of the first round. I know he's all offense, but if he can figure out his defensive side, he is such an impressive skater and puck mover and creator. You don't want to pass on that type of a guy, in my opinion. I know maybe it's his size too. He's only 5'11", 162. I have no idea. But things are happening fast. Last pick coming up. Oh, it's about time here. 3 hours and 45 minutes we've been going. $81 points by a rookie this year in the queue. That is impressive, for sure. All right, a couple more questions here. No matter what, I'm not going past the 4-hour mark, I don't think. 13 minutes. Call it done. Because this has been long and painful. I do appreciate everyone who finally did come into the chat after about 2 hours. I appreciate that. We're running out of stuff to talk about, running out of stuff to go over. Everything was just bland. So thank you. Thanks to everyone who liked on X, who reposted on X. Thanks to everyone who liked the video on YouTube and who subscribed because of this or was a subscriber before this. We appreciate that. Well, let's get this final pick done. It'd be way more fun to be there, I'll tell you that much. That's a goal of ours. We really want to be at an NHL draft in the next 5 years. I know that much. So if we can make that happen, that would be awesome. Especially if it comes to Vancouver. If it comes to Vancouver, we are most definitely going. I don't even know where the 2027 draft is. Even if it's in Calgary or Edmonton, you can make that work. No location yet. Okay. We do not have a location for the 2027 NHL draft. 10 seconds left on Ottawa's clock. If this runs to 0, people, that means they traded the pick. Looks like they're panning for Gary to come up. There it is. Okay, they're taking their pick. Thank goodness. Jackson Cover. Good for him. I was just reading his story. He's playing roller hockey in the Cayman Islands up until like 2021. He'd never even played ice hockey before. Good for him. That is awesome. First round pick. Awesome story. He went from 45th to 29th in the midterm rankings among North American skaters. Good for him. What a story. A last year rookie who I think will take a step in year 2. Let me go look. There's so many. There's Misa, Schaefer. The realistic one really is Schaefer. Schaefer could be a top 5 defenseman in the NHL next year, just like that. No questions asked. Beckett Seneca could jump into a top 30 player in the NHL, top 30 forward in the NHL. This might have been his sophomore year. I don't remember. No, because he was in the Calder. Yeah, there's a few. I would see like the guy to take the biggest step is going to be Schaefer, I think, just because he's that good. But there's a few guys, maybe Michael Misa, give him a full year. Nice. We're showing Jackson Covers roller highlights as a kid. Oh, good for him. Gotta love a good story. Your guess is Misa goes crazy on the line with Stenberg and proves why he was second overall pick. I mean, having Smith and Celebrini on line one, and then having Stenberg and Misa line two is definitely a positive for them. Either way, I think they all could be over 60 points. Obviously, Celebrini is going to be around 100 again, but yeah, the rest of them could be over 100 points or over 60 points for sure. Looks like the first round is done. I'm sure that they're going to do some recap. Any last minute questions? I'm definitely going to pop out of here in a few minutes. This has been my entire evening for sure. So, again, I want to say thank you to everyone who did tune in. We really appreciate it. I want to say thank you to all who commented, all who liked, reposted, liked on YouTube, and subscribed as well. We really, really, really appreciate it. We thank you so much. We've been going at this for a few years now, and it's been awesome to keep this going, and that's the plan, is to keep going. So, again, we really appreciate you all. This is a long 4-hour video. If you haven't before used, you can go to DraftKings and use promo THPN as well. I figured this was too long for them. We didn't get an official ad or anything in, but just figured I'd throw that in there for them because they support us so well. Thanks to the Hockey Podcast Network for giving us a shot and signing us to their group and allowing us to open up to some great partnerships. So, yeah, as we wrap it up here, I'll take any final questions. Where do I think Zary is going to end? I hope Calgary. I hope they don't move him. That would be stupid. But it would be probably to a not competitive team. I don't know. Vancouver, maybe. Who else? St. Louis. Could see St. Louis making if all they want is a second round pick, St. Louis could really add to their young, take a chance on them core and add him to the core as well. So, yeah, maybe St. Louis or Vancouver. But I don't see if Calgary doesn't think he's good enough for their team, I don't think any of the top teams are going to want him either. So, unfortunately for him. Final questions, and then we are out of here. See if they bring up anything else at the end here, unless they might have just ended it where it was, but we will see. Oh, they're doing a lot of commercials. Shout out to my nephew watching the first pod, his first pod. Got to give him some love. Oh yeah, everyone's cleared out quick. Man, that's gotta hurt. Sitting on those couches and not getting taken is you get put on a couch, it's like, oh, you're definitely getting drafted, and then you just don't. And there was probably 10 kids that did not get taken off those couches. That is absurd. Oh, they're just showing all the Canadian teams picks. Okay. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. Once again, thanks everyone for tuning in. This has been a live draft edition of the Game Day Tarts podcast. Hope all of you who joined had some fun, and we will see you all in the next episode of the Game Day Tarts podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another video over here on the Game Day Tarps podcast and the Hockey Podcast Network. We've got so much more where this came from, so smash the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell, turn the notifications on so you never miss a beat. For myself and the rest of the guys over at Game Day Tarps, we thank you, and we'll see you next time.